Good evening, one and all, to another OneHub ACC outing guaranteed to be a ball for all involved. It's week 2, and after the hills were alive with the drama after our opening in my beloved Belgium, it's time to really test our drivers' patience on a track that really dares you to overtake at every twist and turn, almost as many twists and turns as we are expecting in our 5-week championship at Silverstone. The very essence of high-speed motoring. It is the bastion of motor racing in Britain, and for our drivers tonight, it's where they'll be taking place. I've misread that. And a bastion of F1 and ACC commentary genius. It is my privilege to once again have Jessica Ball alongside me in the comms box. How are we doing this evening, Jess?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic tonight, John. We were treated to some great racing last week around Spa. We saw a race that started off in the evening and it finished off in the night, so it made the conditions trickier for the drivers. We also had a battle for the win that went down to the wire. Quite literally, none of us knew what was going to happen with all the game glitches that were happening towards the end, but luckily, hopefully, it is fixed tonight. And we saw Milden take the first win of the season with Car Mentalist in P2. But tonight, we head to a track that kicked off British motorsport in style. If you love motorsport, you will know about Silverstone. It is the home of British motorsport. It first held the motor race back in 1948 and it held the first Formula 1 World Championship race back in 1950. This is Silverstone week in OneHubRacing because F1 will be racing now on Friday with their qualifying night, but we're here tonight in ACC. Silverstone has developed from its windswept airfield origins into one of the most recognised in world motorsport. It's featured in both the British GT and GT World Challenge calendar, and the track features some of the world's most well-known corners, such as the fast Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel Complex, as well as the tricky Luff Hill hairpin heading out of Brooklands and off to the Wellington Straight. And to get the differences about this track out the way, the Silverstone track on ACC does not start at the Hamilton Straight. It starts as you head into Woodcote, and turn 1 is the infamous Cops Corner. Let's hope the drivers who recently converted from F1 do not get confused with that. And hopefully us commentators won't get confused with that either. A slightly shorter race than last week, 75 minutes long. But out of all the race lengths this season, it's the most common one, where rounds 4 and 5 are also 75 minutes. If last week's race is anything to go by, John, we're going to be in for another tweet this evening. I just can't wait.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to announce you queen of the understatement there, Jess. I mean, yeah, really, this is going to be, it's only a 75-minute this week, but the track description tells us all that we are in for a cracker tonight. Given as well that this is a solo championship, but we'll have some nice team battles to look forward to as well. We've got SOP, they're clearly leading the charge at the moment. We've got the hometown competition hosts, that's ERT, they're outplying their wares as well. And now we've got Indigo Lime Evo entering the fray with the very quick, I'll tell you in a second. I can definitely testify he is a podium-level driver, and he really could shake things up at the top of the table with 4-point scoring outings ahead of us. Hungaroring, Zolder and Monza, the Cathedral of Speed, of course, will end our trip around the world for these 5 weeks. But it is Britain's own Cathedral of Speed that we are at this evening, or early afternoon as it is for the drivers. Quick look at the table and we can see the runners and riders that are ready to battle here in the heart of the English countryside. Khalifa, come on, leading the way. We've got Key, SF Racing, Camel Babel, Car Mentalist, Dex Dexter, Art Connor, Gazaman. Has anybody spotted him yet? We've got Art Connor, as I say, Gazaman, Ponystown, Cablo, Flying Throne, Blue Mosquito, H Racing Green, ERT Kyle, Gunnar Gamble, Blair Grills, Eddie, SOP Milden, and I did not mention Okeke there. He's no longer in the championship. He's been replaced by Indigo Lime Evo's Floppy Fox.
Ooh.
Anyone that's seen any racing at all on console, on ACC, you all know who that guy is. And yes, Indigo Lime Evo are in there. We can see the teams there highlighted in blue. We've got Khalifa, Camel Babel and Dex Dexter there in the ERT team. But it's SOP Cool and SOP Milden that took all the honours in the opening outing. Milden with a very solid performance, taken not only 20 points. But down there at the bottom of the screen, you can clearly see driver of the day as well. And very well deserved it was. Car Mentalist came so close to getting a driver of the day nomination as well. It really was a toss-up between himself and H Racing Green for myself. And it was H Racing Green that got the nod after that, quite frankly, heroic drive to get himself well inside the top 10 after starting in 17th. So it's SOP first and third with Milden and Cool, as I said, 20-14 points. Car Mentalist, the man in the middle, in second place. Expect him to be on the top step of the podium more often than not towards the end of the season. Will Floppy Fox throw a few spanners in there? Connor is in fourth on 12. Flying Frome, fifth on 10 points. Dex, hoping for a bit more luck on track in his Ferrari. Come on, Team Ferrari. In sixth with 8 points. Then H Racing Green is on 6. Khalif is on 5. We've got Eddie, scored 4 points. Cam Come On got himself 3 with Camel Babo, ERT teammate of Dex and Khalif. He picked up 2 with Bear Grylls, picking up a point, and he also got a comeback point for the most overtakes made, the most positions gained during the race, as did H Racing Green. Hence his nomination for me for driver of the day. So well deserved there too. And the PP at the bottom, Jess, I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure what that's for. Why did the SOP? Oh, pole position. Wow.
Don't worry. I had a second whilst I was looking at the results earlier to think about what is it? There's like pole position. I've been at OneHub since 2019 and still I didn't know. But there we go. Now I do. So don't worry. We made our first mistake of the evening.
There we go. But yeah, so SOP, cool. Took pole position, finished in third. So that just goes to show you the battle we had. And as Jess and I both mentioned, this circuit, oh, Jess, it's an absolute cracker. We're going to do a hot lap, I believe, or have I jumped the gun slightly there?
No, we are going to be doing a hot lap before we get started because they're currently in their practice session at the moment. This was a hot lap that was submitted by one of our lovely coordinators for the league who organised this ACC outing, this ACC season. That is, of course, ERT Dexter, currently sitting 6th in the championship. So, like we said earlier, you're past Woodcote now into the start-finish straight, and you'll be heading into Cops very, very soon. F1, you don't need to brake into Cops, but in the GT3s, you need to apply the brakes. You need to go down into 4th gear and stay in 4th until your car is straight, where you can go into 5th, just you can see here. Now, this is the famous Maggots and Beggarts complex. You start in each sequence of corners where you go 4th into Maggots, then 3rd on the apex, and then you're going to go into Chapel Curve, coming onto the Hangar Straight. Right about now, you need to position your car into the left so you can get a good run heading into Stowe very, very soon as well. Look at the high speed that this car is doing at the moment. You've got to be heading towards about 4th gear in the exit Stowe, then heading into 3rd position. Your car on to the right a little bit as you head into Vale, and only aim for the left apex as you head into Club Corner. 1st gear here, and you'll be going through the newly named Hamilton Straight, obviously named by Mr. Lewis Hamilton, and little dabs on the brakes to control the weight of the car, and then aim at the left at the Farm Curve very, very soon, past Abbey into Farm Curve, and then you'll get a good entry into Village. 1st gear again as you enter that corner, and as soon as you enter Aintree, put it up to 2nd again. Wellington Straight coming up now. Easy overtaking spot during the race. We'll hopefully see a lot of brave moves being attempted through here, and you will be going at full power once again, and you'll be arriving into Brooklands now into 2nd gear and going into the hairpin of Luffields into 1st gear. Some more brave moves will be attempted there too. Heading towards the final corner of Woodcote, and that was a lap around the Silverstone circuit on ACC, courtesy of ERT Dexter.
Yeah, and what a lap it is. There he is, Dex, in the Bentley, of course, playing homage to the car that is based very close to Silverstone, certainly a British car, synonymous with British motorsports as Bentley, as is Silverstone. He is, of course, driving the Ferrari tonight with Hasten to point that out, just in case. But yeah, it is a Ferrari Dex is going to be driving at this evening. I can confirm we do have 19 drivers in the session at the moment. 48 minutes left of the practice session. They're going to be lapping someplace in the 2 to 2 minutes. Of course, OneHub synonymous with F1. 19 seasons, or 19th season about to start under their belt. Jess herself, a perennial point scorer in said league, as well as laying down some unbelievable commentary as well. Yeah, definitely worth the whips. Definitely worth the whips. As I say, so she knows this track all too well. As she pointed out in the track walkthrough there, the flying lap, so the hot lap, sorry, very much different between the way this track is taken in an F1 car, and there's massive differences, as we said before, between the F1 cars and the GT3s that we're going to see on track this evening. Wide selection of cars. We've got McLaren, Lamborghini, Mercedes, Ferrari, Bentley, Audi. Each of them as different as the last is to the next, right down to where the engine's mounted, although we've got no Porsches, which is quite a surprise, and we don't have a lone BMW, which you usually do see sneaking up. Homage to Kieran Clifford. I hope he's in the chat. Good evening. Welcome to everybody in the chat, by the way. SOP Milne's in the chat, so's Gazaman, the Welsh Canadian, Johnny Bizzett. How is the Ginger Warlord this evening? Dynastics is saying hello to Jess. We've got Jixer in the chat, of course, as well. Jixer prefers the 750, apparently, as I found it on Chad Rice's stream the other day. But yeah, these cars, all very, very much different. So for the guys transferring from F1 to this, it's a whole new Silverstone experience. F1 cars all kind of do work in the same way, same size of engine, all the layouts generally the same. But in these cars, very, very much different. Engines mounted in the middle, or middle like your McLarens and your Ferraris, just like the F1 cars. But then you've got the Bentley. That is a big old engine strapped up the front of that thing. They don't call it the Boatley for nothing. It is, of course, a reference to the Titanic. The size of that thing is absolutely huge. So it's going to be fun to see. And we've also got some specialist ACC drivers in, I can tell you. Floppy Fox is definitely going to be one to watch. Car Mentalist, he is definitely one to watch. Khalifa, he actually said in his pre-race interview, he was not concerned with his raw pace, it was more the consistency, and that is absolutely what is needed in driving. Slow in, quick out to the corners, keep it nice and clean. To finish first, you must first finish. Getting to the end, absolutely vital, and it is definitely easier said than done around the 5.8 kilometre circuit that is Silverstone. As I said in my opening, it is very much a track that invites the overtake at most of the corners. There is very few places you can't pop one up the inside, go side by side and look to make yourself an overtake. And we are going to see a lot of action here this evening, judging by the timetables that I'm seeing from the free practice session. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that Car Mentalist was clocking the top times in that McLaren, flying from in the Lamborghini, very close in behind. But of course, that was a practice session. SOP Cool and Camel Babo, neither of those drivers set a time, and yeah, definitely could be a fair bit of sandbagging as the drivers try and feel one another out. Of course, this is their third outing on track with the pre-season dust off. Get the brakes warmed up, get some heat into the tyres, get the right angle on the spoilers, and then we had race 2. So a third outing for these drivers, and 19 we've got on grid. In fact, nope, fake news. Let me just quickly correct myself.
Cool is here. His internet's fixed. His internet's fixed. Yes. He had doubts on when he was going to make it tonight. He spent the last few hours trying to fix his internet. He just joined at the end of qualifying, and we got a full grid for the first time. We got 20 cars, a full lobby. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely amazing. Thank you everyone for watching this stream. It's going to be an absolute classic, I have to say. Now, we did ask a few questions in the pre-race interviews. We'll go through quite a couple, as well as we'll speak about, is Silverstone a better track for them than Spa? Connor said, I had hoped it would be, but I've been struggling to get the Aston up to the pace I'd like, although it might be a result of the 2020 BOP, because that is what it's set to in the game. Where is Connor? There he is somewhere. Once the camera decides to go to Connor, there we go. Dexter, who has done quite well in the inaugural event that we did on ACC just a few months ago. He said, not a bad track. Usually I'm good at both. Things just went wrong because of the setup last time. Feel like I've been consistent on Silverstone, which is fair enough. Flying Throne looking good at practice at the moment, saying I think it's better for the Lamborghini. Don't forget, these drivers have to pick the same car for the entire season. And we see some new drivers as well that have opted for some absolute crackers of cars at the moment. Car Mentalist, who just missed out on the win last week, says, I think it's better for the McLaren than Spa. I prefer driving Spa though. Not to say I don't enjoy Silverstone, there's just an extra challenge to Spa I enjoy more. I think John will love Car Mentalist answer to that.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Top of the tree. Car Mentalist, that's it. You're getting more camera time. There we go.
And we got Kai's F1, also known as Kieran. It's his first race on ACC, making a transition to F1. Welcome, Kieran. He said, I seem all right at it for my standards. He's setting low expectations to himself, but again, it's hard to go from F1 to ACC. So understandable. Cool, I can't go on board with him because he's in the pits, but he said, I do like the fast-flowing track if you get your setup right, if you can. Really enjoy it. I have not raced here with a Lamborghini, though, and also had not much practice this week. Cam said, he always likes short answers, as we saw last week. He said, feels like it. And a
man of few words, I like it.
Yeah, that's cool. And Cablo is being very confident about Silverstone. He said 100% is better than Spa. There we go. So we should expect much better results from good old Cablo. Floppy Frocks, one of our new drivers, like John said, a podium with potential. Love the livery, purple. Anyone that puts purple in their livery, extra brownie points. There we go. He says he prefers Spa, but Silverstone has its challenges. So there we go. Eddie, where is Eddie at the moment? I can't find him. He's in 7th. Now he's in 8 because Carla's gone quicker than him. Eddie said, Silverstone is a tricky track for me. The slow corners are very technical and I need improvement there, but I do hope for a better result this week. Cabo Babo says, not really. Silverstone definitely more forgiving though. And let's hope that Cabo Babo has a better result this week. SOP Milden, who was my pick for driver of the day last week and he won the race, says not really, will favour the mid-engine car, so we'll look to battle points here. And just a quick mention as well, he's running an all-black livery tonight to pay tribute to the 5 people that lost their lives in the Plymouth shootings that happened on Thursday night, which it was quite close to his heart because he had a few friends that lived near the Kiam area and a few family as well, so it definitely hits close to home for him. He doesn't live that far from Kiam anyway. I don't live that far away either, 13-minute drive, so that is his livery dedicated to the occasion as well. So good on you, Milden. Win tonight for me, thanks.
Yeah, good on you there, mate. Yeah.
Win tonight for me. Khalifa said, definitely, I've probably done a few more laps in Silverstone on this game than any other track, so hopefully that translates to a good result tomorrow. And John, well, tonight actually, John could back me up on that fact. Khalifa's done very, very well in Silverstone in other leagues on ACC, so
yes.
There we go. He was quite unlucky in the first event because he would have been near the podium if he didn't get involved in an incident. So Khalifa, let's hope he could have a lot better in terms of pace. Blue Mosquito, not particularly, they're similar in some ways. And Gazaman said, I practice on Silverstone a lot compared to other tracks, so it'll probably be my best track. And for Gazaman and Kieran, for example, Silverstone is a great track to start with because it's also on the F1 game as well. So at least they're starting off quite easier because they know their way around the track. It's just the braking zones that are a lot different compared to an F1 car. So yeah, that is your answer for one of the questions.
Yeah, so there we go. And just to say a quick hi, Gazaman is in the chat. How are you, Jess and Raven? I am absolutely pumped to see this. I know I love Spa, but to see 20 cars on track at Silverstone, like I say, there's so many opportunities to overtake and then be overtaken and get straight back in the slipstream again. So it just perpetuates itself. We've got some absolutely top 58.6 car mentalist. We're not even halfway into qualifying. Unbelievable. Just, honestly, I'm going to throw my wheel in the bin. But yeah, I was fine, Garzaman, until I saw car mentalist casually bang in a sub 159 before we're even halfway into qualifying. Goodness gracious.
He's already beaten his time that he did in the first event, because he wasn't pole in the first event. That we did. So he was 9/10 slower. I think he did a 159 in the first event.
Kid.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. But just a quick reminder what the pole time was in the first event that we did. Don't forget, it is different conditions. It is a lot cloudier, so lap times may be different. 1:58.0 set by Ben Gallagher was the pole time. He's not here, obviously, in this season, but that is the benchmark. It's going to be harder, but there are some quick drivers here tonight as well that could really throw a spanner in the works in terms of strategy. People have been asked, are you likely to try something different to get ahead of your rivals? Connor says, I don't think there's much that I could do. Best thing I could do is keep it clean. Fair enough. Dexter said, we'll see how the race will progress and then make my strategy call from that. Flying Throne said a cheeky undercut might work pretty well, probably following in the footsteps of Milden last week. Car Mentalist says, I don't think so, no. The minute I change my approach, I step out of my comfort zone, which isn't ideal on such a tricky game. Sorry, not Jane. What are you on about?
It's excitement, Jess.
It is excitement. I'm
genius.
I'm full of excitement. That's why Kieran said, nah, just drive. Nice answer. Straight to the point.
Shut up and drive. I just hung on stream.
I'm going to get DMCA'd at this rate. Oh, God. Cool said, he's just got to race for my own race. I know that the McLaren is very fast around here. Good point. One of my favourite drivers because he is in the McLaren, just saying. So they could be up for the top for sure, but I'll try as fight if I can. So we'll wait and see how the race pans out. Cam said to not crash. Cablo said try and stay consistent and see where it gets me. Floppy Fox is looking, well, in 7th place at the moment. He'll keep it clean and say where he finishes. He can assess after and see where he can improve. Eddie is hoping for consistency. They're fast but long races, but it benefits the most consistent drivers. We've learned that in Spa actually as well, but this is a lot shorter lap. Kamo Bamo says it's a relatively short race. That's the most common answer we're seeing today actually. Milden says most strategies are done on the fly. You need to react to your rivals. That's how Milden won the race last week. He responded to Car Mentalist. Khalifa said he'll try not to spin or speed into the pits for once since he always seems to do one or the other. Khalifa's learned from his lesson in the pre-season race, I can tell you that. Let's hope he remembers to turn pit assist on tonight. Blue Mosquito said he's just driving his own race and hoping for a top 10. Gazaman said he still needs to get better at learning the game and strategy, so keeping it simple. Maybe a 50-50 split will help me to start it off. And we'll go through the hot and colds for you. The hot driver is SOP. Milden had a fast charging Car Mentalist behind in an entertaining battle for the win, but came out on top. And our cold driver is currently 6th place at the moment, Gunnar Gamble. The only driver that failed to finish, the only one that had a registered DNF next to his name, will be hoping to finish this time around and get some needed points on the board, John.
Yep, and needed points. That is what it's all about. Points make prizes. Qualifying is vanity, finishing position, and points in the bag. That is the sanity. Dexter, for me, being the classic example of that, by his own standards, reckon he didn't have the best of races, but he still managed to bag himself some points. And with the level of talent we've got on track, I mean, look at SOP Cool, took pole position last week and finished 3rd. Car Mentalist could have won it right down to the last corner, and SOP Milden did. These points are going to be very, very, very precious indeed, and they're going to be hard fought for on the track, and that is going to be motivated because there's more points on offer for our drivers that put in, well, let's face it, a racing driver's dream. Most overtakes. If you get yourself further up the field than any other of your competitors, you'll get yourself a bonus point. And there's a bonus point on offer for 20th through to 11th, and then 10th through to first. It was H Racing Green that took last week's extra point, and it was Blair Grills who took himself a point. Didn't actually score a point in the race, but does find himself on the board with that. So, even though he finished outside the point scoring positions, he still got himself a point on the board. So, it's everything to play for. And again, this racetrack, when it comes to overtaking, and I'm trying to hold my excitement just a little bit, but it's really difficult. Top 11 drivers are within a second. And the fastest man in Sector 2, well, that would be my beloved Dex Dexter in my beloved Ferrari. We've got SOP Milden in the Bentleys, currently the quickest man in Sector 1. And not to be left out on pole position, it is, of course, Car Mentalist is the quickest man in Sector 3 with less than a lap to go for a lot of these drivers. This is going to be, absolutely incredible. We have a mandatory pit stop as well for the drivers to take. There's going to be a tyre change, so they're going to lose themselves 61 seconds, sorry, 61 seconds. So far more lenient than the Spa pit lane, because that thing is just an absolute killer. Although ironically,
Silverstone's still quite long, but not as long as Spa.
That's correct. It is quite long, but you don't lose as much as a percentage of your lap. Do you know which lap time actually loses you the most? Laguna Seca. Because Laguna Seca is such a short track, you actually lose 72% of your lap going in for a drive to change your tyres.
And there's another track that you also lose a lot of time as well. Misano. I hate Misano.
70%. You're right. Misano is right up there as well. Spa's at 69%. But you do lose 95 seconds at Spa, whereas at Misano you only lose 66 seconds.
Not bad. Not bad at
all.
all.
So you don't actually lose time, but you do that percentage because of the lap. And I'll tell you what, Car Mentalist, he has handed his coffee. Hold my beer. He's just purpled all 3 sectors.
Wow, that is insane here. We're going to just about head to the end of qualifying. We've got a few people about to do their final lap to let us follow through. Then we got the number 34 driver crossing the line, heading into Woodcote now. That is ERT Khalifa. Let's see if he can get higher than 6th position. It's one of his favourite tracks, said in the pre-race interviews. P2 for him. We got the 37 driver who's coming P2, flying throne. What a lap from him. Now he slots into P2. We've got a few checker flags. H Racing Green comes across the line in P4. We got the number 26 of ERT Kyle. Can he get higher than 50? No, he does not. But I do believe he improves on his lap time. We have the number 8 of Floppy Fox. Can he get into P3? No, doesn't look like it. And I believe that is it, because I don't, unless Cool could get in a lap in time. He's just past the Hamilton straight now. Don't get confused by Formula 1 standards, of course. Kieran is down in last place, 7 seconds off the pace, but it's his first race in ACC, so you've got to cut a bit of slack. He is learning. It is hard. It is difficult. I probably would have been a lot slower than him. That's why I'm in the commentary box rather than racing. So fair play, and I don't think he's going to set a quicker lap as he just cut the corner. So let's follow Cool as he heads through in past the Wellington straight now. And we got the number 2, I think, on a cool down lap. I think that will be Kieran, actually. Nope, he's into the pit lane. So it's just Cool going to the last person to cross the line. That will be qualifying. He got pole last week. Is he going to make it 2 for 2? He's got to find 1.8 seconds. It's a tough order to find, but you never know. Cool is a quick driver, so can he get... No, 10th position. So Car Mentalist takes whole position, and It's 2 different pole sitters from 2 in our inaugural ACC season, John.
Oh, yes, indeed. And if we take a very close look at the top of that timing board, I certainly am 1 minute 57.882. So not only did he hear that the top 11 drivers within a second, he's now absolutely destroyed that, 9 tenths ahead. He has beaten Ben Gallagher's pole time from the opening event that OneHub had. And that is absolutely phenomenal times there. 9/10 ahead of the rest of the field. Absolutely incredible. Flying from in second, ERT Khalifa, showing that he really does have that raw pace. He's got the Mercedes there. In third, we have got ourselves a race on our hands tonight, Jess. We've got the lap. What we haven't done at any point this evening, you can see them all across the bottom of the screen there. That is, of course, the sponsors. We've been too taken with the drivers, the track, and the lap times. We've got some sponsors that you should probably give a wee shout out to as well.
Yeah, we neglected them during the stream. We're so sorry, sponsors.
Too much going on. We're
so sorry, sponsors. I know Dexter's going to scream at me because his team is one of them.
He's a hard taskmaster.
Exactly. So we may as well talk about the partners first, because we never do the partners first. We always do the sponsors first. So partners first. ELT, Elite Racing Team, now an esports team. They have drivers in the league tonight with the likes of Dexter, Khalifa, Cabo Babo, Kyle, and lots more. They're going to be partnering the ERT Go and Gets Tough Award prize, and all drivers will be in the draw for that if they complete their media day stuff, which is their pre and post race interviews, finish outside the top 3 and attend every race. As far as I'm aware, as of last week, there are 12 drivers out of 20 still in the running for that award, which is good news. We also have our another partner, Vespertine, who support our championship prizes and also provide our lovely merch, which you can find by going on to the Vespertine apparel website, which you can find on VSPRTN.com. And believe it or not, OneHubRacing is the featured league on that site. So you can just click there, click shop here, and you can find all their merch. Simple as that. Our sponsors then, 3M Sim Racing. They sponsor the league by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves, which I do think is pretty cool. And Next Level Racing, they're providing a direct drive stand to the driver who gets the most driver of the days in our F1 leagues, which start this Friday with our qualifying night around Silverstone. But we're going to be staying in Silverstone for just a little bit longer on ACC. Oh my God, this is going to be brilliant, I have to say. Let's get this race underway. The drivers are on their formation lap now, and hopefully the drivers can give it everything they have got. Unfortunately, it did not put me on board with the race leader, which is very annoying, and it won't let me change to it. That's the bad nature of the game, but there we go. So, are we ready for this? This should be an absolute cracker. 75 minutes of action, a lot shorter than last week, but this is going to be amazing. I do believe it's going to be dry for the whole race again. When are we ever going to get the rain? Look at it. The clouds are dark, and they're just teasing us, you know? It's ridiculous. But anyway, the formation lap's going to be quite long anyway, but we got to see, I think, our mentalist as being one of the contenders for the race win today, and I'm almost certain that lots of other drivers will be in contention as well. We got our rivalry section, which I did not mention. It's between our two ERT drivers this week, Khalifa and Dexter. Both drivers started off steady enough with some points last week, and they were asked, will there be any ERT team orders if either of you are battling for the win and might be quicker than the other driver? Dexter said, still early in the season, so there'll be no team orders. Maybe later on though. We definitely don't want to hold each other up, but we are in constant communication on the PSM party, so that won't be a problem, and I have to agree. The ERT drivers that race in this league, they're in a party all the time. All the drivers are in constant communication, so fair play to them. And Khalifa says, will there be any team orders? He said, yeah, there probably will be when Dexter's getting blue flags. There we go. So there are your rivalries for this week.
Yeah, they are. And I'll tell you what, Dexter is going to be starting on the rear spoiler of Khalifa.
There we go.
So that is going to be an interesting one. Khalifa, of course, is qualified on the second row of the grid. Dex is on the third row of the grid. Floppy Fox, did he qualify 6th, or is that just he's slightly out of position in the warm-up? I'm pretty sure he is going to start in 7th. But Milden, we've got SOP Motorsports Simon back from his camping holiday. How we doing, Simon? Hope you're all well. Hope the family enjoyed. He is saying, watch for Milden and Cool to climb up the order with the eyes emoji. Is that just a bit of team favouritism? Is he trying to mind games on the other team managers that might be watching?
No, I think he's been true.
Quick? I think he's been honest as well. They are ridiculously quick. Milden, when it comes to racecraft, he definitely knows what he's doing. But let's not look past car mentalist. As you said, he's absolutely got to be hot favourite. He's got his nose out in front. And if he gets a good, quick, clean start, he is definitely more than capable of keeping himself out there. 1 hour and 15 minutes. The drivers have to ply their trade and collect their points. Top 12 of them lucky enough to receive points. And of course, our points for making the most overtakes. Can't remember what it's called right now because they're going to get some
comeback points.
Comeback points. There we go. Comeback points. I'm going to need comeback points just to keep up with what we're about to see. That is the track of destiny. Overtakes ahoy. Let's hope we don't see any F1 antics. And it's green lights. Away we go. And I tell you what, it's a great start then for Carmelo. It's got exactly what he needed, which is the driver in 2nd place flying through him instantly under a bit of pressure from H Racing Green. And I tell you what, that is the purple of Indigo Lime's Evo's Flying Fox. I do believe independently that's made himself a few positions, and it's Dexter that's dropped down a couple of positions. Then he's finding himself under all kinds of pressure from Ponage Town. He's got the Lamborghini at SOP Cool waiting to pounce there then. So they're driving for the first time. That's them out Chapel Curve for the first time of asking along into Stowe, Vale, cold tyres. Keep it clean, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look and see what's happening up the front on my screen. I can't see what's going on. So Skill Car Metal Scene, Flying Foam is in 2nd. H Racing Green is in 3rd place. Floppy Fox is up into 4th position. Did somebody say podium contender? But at the start of the programme, I'm sure they did. Khalifa.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, really did. And I tell you what, up to 4th already. How's that for a start? Khalifa 5th, sorry. Gunnar Gamble in 6th. Milden is in 7th. Dexter, the big loser in the opening few exchanges there, finds himself down in 8th with Ponage Town in 9th, and SOP Cool still sitting in 10th position. But it is Flying Foam then, and I tell you what, Floppy Fox is wasting no time whatsoever. Is he past?
I think he's past H Racing Green, I think. He is
yes, he is.
He is up into 3rd place already. I think he started 6th and already gained 3 places in at this race. He's doing a H Racing Green style drive, and I have to say, I've done a bit of research of Floppy Fox before this race, and even though his qualifying may not be the best, his racecraft is a lot better, his race pace is a lot better, and I'm glad that he's in the Bentley showing off the purple colours as he's going to try and get past the Flying Foam. Of course, the pit lane is now open, so if they want to do their mandatory stops now, they can, but they're not going to make it. So maybe in about 15 minutes time or even 45 minutes time, they'll probably think about doing their pit stop as they head towards the infamous Maggots.
Dex under pressure. Dex under pressure.
Dex is under pressure from I think Ponage Town again. Ponage Town going side by side. A little bit of a love tapping, as it were, as well. I'm just trying to remember.
Like a bit of net code there as well, to be fair.
It did look like netcode, similar to iRacing, but there we go. We also got someone else going side by side. I believe that's Connor. That is Art Connor heading towards Toad. Dexter is getting swamped at the moment. He's very struggling on pace right now. We also got, I believe, Cull. Cull is going to go on the outside. What the hell? This is insane stuff. Heading towards, I think, Club?
Yeah, they're heading towards Club.
I always got confused. I thought it was Laughbill, but it's not. This is the ACC version of the track. Already getting confused, but Cool's already made up his few places as well. Gazaman in the chat earlier said he was happy with P14, a lot better than he would expect. He's dropped down 1 place, but that's better than a few drivers on the grid that's dropped a few. So for Gaz's standards, that is very brilliant for him as well. And seeing the battle at the front.
Floppy Fox has got the move done. Wow. I was just jumping back and forth. Floppy Fox is in 2nd place.
He is in P2 now of this race.
Wow. That is incredible. Floppy Fox there. I did say he was a podium contender. He is, of course, in the Indigo Lime Evo racing colours, that very distinct lime green and purple, and he is fully representing. I did mention at the start of the broadcast that it was going to be turning into a bit of a team affair with ERT and SOP, and we've got a sprinkling of Indigo Lime Evo. And I tell you what, he is going to mix things up at the top. It's the end of lap 2. Floppy Fox has made himself up 4 places. He is in second position, and I tell you what, he is showing Flying Froome what could be considered a very, very clean pair of heels at the moment, because Flying Froome, he's got himself an H Racing green headache that is going to get a lot bigger, a lot quicker here as they come through Chapel once again. Gunnar Gamble lurking in the background, and there's a certain SOP Milden and ERT Khalifa. Now currently battling out for 6th and 7th. That could play right into the hands of the drivers ahead if these two drivers who've got race-winning pace end up battling it out and neutralising one another. Oh, yeah, this gets better and better and better and better. It's hard to not get excited. Well, if we drop back to just ahead of Blue Mosquito, there's that Camel Babo. Oh, man down, cool. Oh, I think ERT, Camel Babo and SOP Cool in 9th and 10th are a bit of a coming together there. SOP Cool sent spinning into the sand before the club entry, so the Hamilton Straight is going to be a very lonely place for him at the moment. Was battling for 9th. He's going to tumble down the order then. I think, is that a McLaren all the way back there? Is that Blair Gills? It's Blair Gills. He's back down in 18th position then. So he has lost 9 places.
We got one retirement. We got one retirement. That is Connor. Unfortunately, his game crashed.
What's going on? Come on, the internet, what are you doing? It's not fair. Get with Arnold. It's in the Terminator to sort you out. So yeah, that's not
Okay.
So many dad jokes for someone so young. But yeah, I'm back up at the front, Jess. And I'm certainly watching Flying Froome. Said he was being shown a clean pair of heels by Floppy Fox. Maybe not so much. The gap still sitting a very solid half a second. So this one could develop into a bit of cat and mouse as the race developed. Of course, in the chat, someone did mention the undercut. That's certainly a huge possibility around this track with the mandatory stop to be taken. And that could be exactly what Flying Froome needs here. He's staying just out of the slipstream as they come along the hanger straight into snow. He's definitely going to close. He's within slipstream mode, within slipstream range, sorry. Going to look for a tighter line. Not quite close enough to make that one stick up the inside, but definitely going to close the gap as they come into club, or as it shall now be known, the demise of SOP Cool. He's gathered himself. He's got to move back down on Blair Gills up to 16th, but it is Flying Froome who's still putting pressure on Floppy Fox. Then Floppy's carved his way through the field, and I do mean the top end of the field there, to find himself up into second position. And Flying Froome is definitely going to get himself that position back. We know Flying Froome very quick in the Lamborghini as they come into the village complex. Get themselves through here and on the last serious bit of straight before Luffields. The Lamborghini staying very close, still very close right through the field, Jess. I've honestly got no idea where to look. I'm looking at Gazaman. He's now putting pressure on Dexter, who's trying to get a move back down on Cablo. He's hanging on in there to 11th position, but also Eddie as well versus Cam. Come on. It is an Aston Martin versus Mercedes. They've got SOP Cool after losing it just before club. He's closing that gap back down as well, so he could certainly be a linchpin to get some slipstream to some of these drivers at the back. Oh, and I tell you what, I'm just watching Eddie. He's trying to go around the outside of Cam. Come on, has he run too wide? He's going to come into Luffield. He definitely has then. And all he's done is cost himself a lot of time. Slow in, quick out, even in the high-speed corners. If you're going into them too quickly, you compromise your exit speed, and that is good night, Irene. And Cam, come on, is going to definitely live to fight another day. Gazaman still trying to hang on to Dexter. Cablo's just ahead of them, with Blue Mosquito in 9th. So it's a nice clean start from Blue Mosquito, currently in 9th. Camel Babo just ahead of him with Pony's Town, now running in 7th. It's Khalifa in 6th. He's fallen foul to SOP Milden, then the Silent Assassin in the black livery. He's making his way through the field. He's in 5th. Gunnar Gamble, again, great drive here. He's in 4th. And then the top 3. Oh, well, we know the top 3 drivers are Flying Frome and Floppy Fox. Those two, well, it's a coin toss to decide which one's in which position the way this race is going. Car Mentalist, though, he is absolutely showing some serious dominance here, Jess. He is definitely not for letting the rest of the field even so much as have a look in. 4.9 seconds in the lead, and we're only 4 laps in. That is some phenomenal driving in the McLaren.
Yeah, it is as well. He was dominant last week, but he said it himself that he made a mistake going up into Radion, which caused Milden to have a battle with him and overtake him as well. So there was mistakes, and it could have been avoided really if he wasn't pushing to the limit. He said he had a comfortable lead, just sometimes difficult for him to switch out of attack mode, so he needs to learn to cool down when he's more comfortable. So hopefully he's learned is a lesson from tonight, of course. And Flying Frome needs to improve in the qualifying, which he did tonight, which is great news that he's improving in qualifying. And guess what? He's fighting against the best of the best. There we go.
Oh, we've got a battle for 9th, Bruin. We've got a battle for 9th. Yeah, Blue Mosquito.
Oh,
sorry,
wow, he's getting
Steven.
swamped. He's getting swamped. We've got Cabo, Babbo, and Ponish Town as well. I've got to say, Ponish Town's first race with us on ACC. He's doing a cracking job, I have to say, in that yellow livery. He'll be in the Bentley for the rest of the season. Oh, someone's gone wide. I believe that's Blue Mosquito. This might give Cablo a chance to overtake. Don't forget the top 12 score point in this league, and that for the rounds, as it were. So plenty of opportunities to score places and points anywhere you go, and also the combat points, like we said earlier on as well. That was why Blair Grills got his first point of the season as well, and it encourages people to fight for something more as well. As oh my god, there's just someone's had a bit of a slide. That is Blue Mosquito, I think. Yes, it is.
Yep,
and Cablo's got past him, Dexter's got past him, and he's going to probably try and get past Dexter now, and I think Gazzaman's right on behind him as well. Gazzaman surprisingly is keeping up with these drivers, so fair play to him. Let's go back to Flying Frome. He dropped a bit to Floppy Fox, but he's still putting in consistent lap times. Fair play to him right now. We've got Gunnar Gamble running a race on his own, same with Milden and Khalifa. They're trying to catch up to each other, but it's proving to be very, very hard. Kull is on the back of Kankamum in the 14th position.
Yeah, he's up a couple
13th.
of places actually. Yeah,
he's up a few plus places as well, as the timers do update. The Blue Mosquito was passed by Dexter anyway, so that is fine. H Racing Green into the pits. Now that is earlier than I thought. Had he had some sort of issue earlier? I don't know. Or does he want to get that stop out the way? We'll find out from him soon. But Carmendalis must be on another planet or something, because the gap has increased to 7.4. Floppy Fox, I think, has had a bit of a moment, as Gunnar Gamble, I believe, got past him. So what happened there? I don't know. We also got Milden in the mix as well. We did see the guy from SOP Motorsport in the chat say Milden will gain places. Look at that. Milden will gain places. He's in the running of gaining that extra point for the comeback point as well. So you don't have to be starting pole.
I can confirm as well, there's not a scratch on Floppy Fox's car.
So it must have been a spin. It must have been a spin.
Yeah, driver error must have been. His car is as clean as a whistle.
Oh, here comes Milden
inside. Oh, tell you what, put a veil over my eyes. Not sure I can watch this. Are they going to go into chicane side by side? Is he going to wait until the Hamilton straight to try and make the most of the slipstream? See the chicane he comes. It's slipstream more engaged. Bentley versus Bentley. It's SOP versus Indigo Lime Evo along the Hamilton straight. He's going to definitely stay in the slipstream. The little dab of brakes and the throw of faith. Oh, and it's a little wiggle from the rear Bentley. Try to say wiggle and Bentley at the same time there. Definitely did come out well. Very, very close. He makes up for that in the braking zone then. And I tell you what, will we see the Battle of Wellington? He's going for a wider entry. Melvin still putting the pressure on, but it's Floppy Fox that's got the getaway here. I'm sure there's a poem about a fox jumping over a mountain or getting away.
There's something about a fox. There's something about a fox.
There definitely is something about a fox, and he is squirreling off in the distance. Gunnar Gamble is still there in the foreground as well. He'll be looking to try and make sure that these two drivers battle amongst themselves and hang on to a potential podium position here. Car Mentalist clocking 1.1 seconds a lap quicker than his competitors at the moment. Absolutely supreme race pace. Floppy Fox, he definitely fell foul with something. 2:01 was his previous lap. The lap before was a 2:02. He is capable. He's done a 1:59.3 so far in opening exchanges of this lap. So definitely, the race, sorry. So definitely some driver error on the Indigo Line Evo Drivers' part. But he's still got a podium well within sight. But then, so does SOP Milden, and he's already been on the top spot of the podium here in the One Hub Championship. So he will be more than keen to reignite his love affair, get as many podiums as he can. As we say, points make prizes, and podiums definitely make points. And in this championship, it's certainly going to be, well, is it going to be a battle for second and third every week? Is Car Mentalist now 8.4 seconds up?
Holy moly!
Just
slow down!
Decimating the rest of the field. Absolutely decimating the rest of the field here. But there is still battles going on. Eddie and Cam come on. They're still going on it. And Gazaman and Dexter for 12th and 11th. And Camo Babo and Ponage Town, another two Bentleys battling. Every place you look, there's Bentleys overtaking Bentleys. A couple of McLarens on the podium. Lamborghinis spread through the field. No idea where to look or what to watch. There's everything happening on every part of the track. Dexter, as we were looking at the moment though, just in the background there we can see SOP Cool took pole position in Spa, took third position in Spa, took a bit of a hit on an off-track excursion here at Silverstone, but he's fighting his way back through the field up into 13th. He's got Cool and Gazaman ahead of him. He's got Gazaman and Dex just ahead of him. Dex trying to put the pressure on Blue Mosquito, who we saw drop the back tyres, perhaps drop the hammer a bit too hard, lit up the back tyres, and found himself wiggling on through. We've got a couple of drivers in the pit actually. Has one of them been in there a while? Oh no, Key's just leaving now.
Yeah, Kieran is just leaving. H Racing Green has been there for quite a bit. So A, his game is having an issue, or B, he's probably given up because he's 3 laps down at the moment. So
yes.
I did point that out, that he was in the pits for quite a long time earlier. So that could be race over, which is a bit of a shame as he had a great comeback drive last week. So he's not going to get any points.
7th place he got last week. I know, 7th place. And yeah, last week we didn't have the full field of drivers, so the drivers further down were picking up points. And I tell you what, for someone like H Racing Green to not pick up points this week, that's certainly going to give other drivers around them a great charge on them going into the remainder of the season. SOP Cool, I can confirm he's up another position. This one's at the expense of Gazaman, so he's back up to 12th. Dex is the next man on his list, and Dex not having the strongest start. Not sure what's going on with Dex. His race consistency has, I don't want to give him the curse of the commentator, but it seems to have
dropped a little bit.
Slightly, it definitely does. From what I've seen recently, he has absolutely been the man on fire. But Spa, I'm not sure if it was the pressure of it being the first league at One Hub or the fact that it was at Spa, I don't know what, but he felt it was the setup giving him issues.
It might be the car. It may be that he's a lot better in the Bentley. He should have gone in the Bentley, Dexter.
No, wash thy mouth out, young women. No.
I was only joking. Stay in the Ferrari, my good friend Dexter. You'll be fine. And if they change cars, they'll be banned anyway. And I don't really want to encourage that, really. Dexter is there's still a long way to go in this race, and Dexter's not doing too bad trying to keep these guys steady anyway, so it's not over for him, and it's not over for some of these guys as well that want to have the comeback of dreams, as it were, as well. And obviously there's some drivers that did not score any points last week, they scored none. So again, they need to pick up the pace as well. They're already on the back foot with them scoring no points. I believe there was 17 drivers last week, so 4 drivers had 0 points to their name last week, and obviously we had 3 other drivers that missed last week's race due to other reasons. Obviously we have a new driver of Floppy Fox as well, and he almost touched Gunnar Gamble and got the move done there, but he did not, heading towards the Hamilton Straight. Of course, for those who have just joined us, the Hamilton Straight is not turn 1 this time. It is Copse Corner, which is turn 1. So that is something to keep an eye on if you're looking on the track map on the right hand side of your screen. Hopefully you can see it loud, nice and clear. Not loud and clear. Hopefully we're coming through loud and clear in the commentary box. But, you know, still a podium is in sight. Carmental is going to hope these guys that are fighting for the podium keep fighting as well, because Milden's in there, and with that train growing as well, if Milden and Floppy Fox maybe keep switching potentially, Khalifa could be in the mix as well. He's already starting to catch up to that train as they head towards Brooklands into Luffield as well. If any of the drivers in front make a mistake...
Oh, Floppy Fox.
Floppy Fox.
Oh, I'll tell you what, and Camel Babble in Ponish Town, that one's an interesting one that's been going on. I was waiting to see if there's going to be any resolve there, but definitely Floppy Fox and Milden. Milden is closing in the braking zones on Floppy Fox, and Floppy's closing, as you can see, on Gunnar Gamble in the braking zones. We're going to see an overtake sooner rather than later in this pack of 3 drivers. Is it going to be Floppy on Gunnar, or is it going to be Milden on Floppy? Is it going to be Milden pops one up the inside of both of these drivers? As I say, this track, if he's going to get the double slipstream out of Chapel, then they're going to come along this straight. And I'll tell you what, Floppy's got himself a great run out of there. So the battle, this is for podium honours here. The still battle's going right down through the field through 8th, 9th and 10th as well, but it is up at the front. Oh, he thought about one up the inside, the door closed perfectly, fairly there. Floppy definitely nowhere near enough to put that one up the inside. Milden watching intently. He is currently playing Praying Mantis. It's a lot more difficult to say than you might think. They're going to come along the Hamilton Straight once again, though. It's Bentley on Bentley hunting down a McLaren, so it's an all-British affair here at Silverstone. Which one of them is going to walk away with the podium honours? Floppy did put the charge on early doors, but then so's Milden. Floppy got himself up to 2nd, dropped back down to 4th. Milden's got himself up into 5th. He knows he's got a tall order ahead of him, getting an overtake done on Floppy, but with Gunnar Gamble being so close, could end up with one driver inadvertently being boxed in if an overtake move's done, and Milden can see himself slip right past both of these drivers if either one lose their calm, cool or composure for even a second. Gunnar Gamble having a great race, so he's got a lot of pressure on behind him. That is 2 very quick Bentleys. Oh, I tell you what, they're going to come in through Luffield to finish lap number 11. I tell you what, the Bentley of Floppy Fox absolutely probing at every opportunity. Well within pit stop range for these drivers. Key has come back into the pit, so not sure if he's misfueled. He definitely cleared his orange marker. That green tick next to his name, or the green bar next to his name, confirms he did complete all mandatory requirements while he was in the pits. So one could only assume he's perhaps cleaning up some damage or popping in a bit more fuel. Talking of well within pit stop range, Dexter's pulled the trigger. He's instantly been overtaken by Gazaman. He is in 13th position, so he's popped into the pit. Still 52 minutes left to go, so he's going to have the most worn tyres by the end, but he just needs to get in and clear his head. He was running his fastest laps actually leading up to the pit stop, so he had steadied the ship and some of his famous Dexter race consistency in there, but he's decided to get himself out with his battling positions, or battling for position, to try and get himself some clear track. Very easy for the drivers to calculate where they're going to come back out on track, given how much time you spend in there, and the very clear track map you get down at the bottom. Very, very, very useful indeed for keeping yourself ahead of the game as and when required. GT Charity, good evening. He's in the chat cheering on the Audi. Can't remember what the question was, but that's because I've got a bag full of squirrels in my head. Frank Trek, Car Mentalist is looking strong. That is an understatement. But he's also confirming that he can hear us loud and clear, which is Josie. But yeah, Floppy Fox, Milden, Khalifa, as just mentioned, lurking in the background. Camel Babo is still probing, trying to find a way past Pony's Town. Pony's putting the car exactly where he needs to defend. The car is nicknamed the Boltley for a very good reason. Very difficult to get past these things. Very easy to make it as wide and as large as possible to give your opponents a pretty serious headache when it comes to getting overtaken done. And talking of pretty serious headaches, in 11th position, there's definitely a headache growing for Blue Mosquito and Cablo. Now they're just behind Camel Babble and Pony's Town, so Pony's Town definitely the cork in the bottle here. Cablo looking to get the move done on Camel Babble, was trying to get the one done on Pony's Town, and I tell you what, SOP Cool's decided he doesn't want any of that four-way battle. He's going to come into the pits. So he's going to come out just ahead of Dex. Keys back out in the pits after his second trip into there. How many other drivers up at the top of the field are we going to see coming in? Milden and Floppy Fox, you would think, being the prime examples there. They've got a Lamborghini just ahead of them. Is that SOP?
Oh, someone's gone wide. Someone's gone wide in the background as I was going on board. That was probably... I can't...
Honda?
It's hard to tell. It might be Cablo, actually, that went wide, most likely. I'm not entirely sure, but... Or someone must be lapped. I don't have a clue. But yeah, someone did go wide. But yeah, we did see in the inaugural event where the undercut was so powerful in some instances, but not powerful in others as well. But again, it does depend on the pace and whether you're in traffic as well. So it does give you an idea. Don't forget, it is cooler track temperatures. Track temperatures is 27 degrees Celsius. Air temperature 24 degrees Celsius. Luckily, the wind is not affecting the drivers tonight as much as anything, even though the clouds do look threatening. Will there be rain? I doubt it. I doubt there'll be rain, but you never know because anything can happen in ACC. A few people were asked if they were prepared for the rain, and most people were saying not, especially Kieran saying he prays Mother Nature will marry me and stay dry. Fair enough. And Dexter is expecting rain as well, but we're seeing more moves being made. And come on, camera, go to Floppy Fox for me. Come on, there we go.
Camel Babble's up the inside as well. Eddie's been left. Cam, come on, sorry. Cam, come on, and Kyle have both got the move done on Eddie. But yeah, you're right. Oh, Floppy Fox again. Oh, has the look. Sorry, Jess, interrupted you there. But yeah, Floppy Fox had to look up the inside of Vale. He's going to have to regather himself going into club.
Yeah, he is. He's looking very good as well. Don't forget, it's a small car of the Lambo versus the big car of the Bentley. So it's a different size in comparison. Through the Hamilton straight they come. I think we could see Milden having a sniff right now as well. So let's see if Milden can take any advantage as well. Maybe Ponage Town on Cabababo on Ponage Town potentially as well across the Hamilton straight too. But I think we got to pay attention to Floppy Fox as he is under more pressure, I think, from Milden than Guna Gamble is to Floppy Fox, I think. Let's see what Milden could do. He's a lot quicker. He's won a race in this league so far. The only driver to have done so far. So he's probably coming into this race with a bit more pressure because he wants to win again, and he probably is expecting more. But there's some tracks that he does prefer. Oh, we've got Floppy Fox almost went a bit wide there. I wonder if that's given Milden a bit more breathing space. He's going to go for the lunge heading into Cops, maybe. Nope, he thinks better of it. And Floppy Fox stays ahead of Milden. Let's look back at Ponage Town versus Cabo Babo. Will Camo Babo be brave to go for a move heading into Cops? or will he stay behind Pony Town? He also stays behind Pony Town. Cabello does the same to Blue Mosquito. Gazzaman's also in this fight as well in P11. And I think everybody else, I believe, is a lap down than the rivals. So the top 11, I still believe, are on the lead lap, which is always good news. Actually, no, it's the timings that haven't been updated. So I believe it's from P15 that's a lap down. So, unless I might be wrong though. I might be wrong. But there we go. As good a Gamble's pulled off a few temps on Floppy Fox just now. Floppy Fox must have been pushing earlier on in the race. That its pace now is not as consistent as it used to be. And this is a track, like we said earlier, John, where it does reward consistency more than anything. If you don't put consistent laps around this track, then you're probably in trouble. We're not seeing that much brave moves at the moment due to the fact that it is a longer race. I'm surprised that not many people are going into the pits for their mandatory pit stops. If they pit now, the fuel will last until the end of the race. They do have to take a mandatory fuel and tyre stop. So we'll see who will bleep first. Car Mentalist can pit whatever time he wants. He's got a 15.5 second gap over Flying Throne. And he's just showing why he should have won last week. But to be honest, Milden definitely deserved to win last week after him taking advantage of Car Mentalist. But for Car Mentalist, this is definitely redemption week for him. If he gets this win, I'm sure he'll be on some good footing for next week when we head to the HungariRing. So Car Mentalist could just probably take it easy.
Especially with Milden finishing in 5th. With Milden currently in 5th. Because of a tall order getting ahead of Floppy and Gamble, as we can clearly see. So with Milden winning last week and Car Mentalist finishing in 2nd, Milden finishing 5th this week. That really is
that could be a game changer.
Car Mentalist. Absolutely, it can be a game changer. And Car Mentalist as well, to put it in perspective, his quickest lap during this race has actually been a 1 minute 58.3.
That's quicker than qualifying.
No, so he did a 57.9 or a 57.8 in quali. So he did beat.
He beat his qualifying run.
Yeah, he's absolutely annihilating laps out here. So he is loving these track conditions and absolutely decimating the rest of the field. 16 seconds ahead after 15 laps.
That's insane.
At Silverstone. Against this field, that is absolutely insane. He is shown to be very, very, very quick indeed. Flying through. I mean, we know the rest of these drivers are absolutely no slouches whatsoever. So to be gapping this early in the race, I mean, we're barely half an hour in. And that is just, supreme pace. He's been shown, but there is still being pace through. Oh, Ponish Town's come into the pits. Eddie, Cam, come on, and Kyle are still having themselves a little battle royale there. Gazzaman's just ahead, trying to get the move done on Cablo. Blue Mosquito is in the middle there, hoping to just keep flying around without getting swatted again. Khalifa in 6th. Milden is the man in 5th. And it is a game of ping pong at the moment. This battle over the front, Jess, is one of these you really can't take your eyes off it just in case. It is Floppy Fox is the man in the middle of this game of pong at the moment, with Gunnar Gamble out in front and Milden in the back. As soon as one closes up, oh, Milden's had enough.
He's in the pits, actually. He hasn't had enough.
He is.
He's in the pits.
Yeah, but he's had enough of trying to get past Floppy Fox. He's going to be hoping that the undercut will be prevalent here. Let's hope he doesn't come out in too much traffic. He should get himself a nice clear gap and come out just in front of Bear Grylls, which would pretty much be ideal for him. So it's going to be Floppy left his own devices now. Can he get past Gunnar Gamble?
He's going to have a look.
Oh yes, he's going around the outside. See, didn't really work for him there. Didn't get the foot down as early as he would have liked to come into the club chicane. Another straightaway. Oh, and he's made a pig's ear of that one.
He's made a boo-boo.
He really has made a boo-boo. Missed the braking zone there and almost caused a bit of a... Hopefully didn't skin too much of his tyres, although he's going to be coming in for a tyre change. So he could maybe mitigate the damage if he has done any, but that is exactly what Gunnar Gamble wanted to see. his competitor making a mistake that didn't lead to his competitor off into the sand, because let's face it, we want all the drivers to finish without any damage, but Gunnar Gamble certainly will be grateful for Floppy making that mistake. He will have been feeling the pressure. But let's be fair, he's been absolutely dealing with that. There's all kinds of pressure on the racetrack. Car mentalist often leading the race. That's pressure, but for Gunnar Gamble to have two drivers like Floppy and Milden behind him lap after lap after lap, and it's the driver in his arrears that's made a second mistake. Because let's remember, Floppy was ahead of Gunnar Gamble in second position, and he's dropped that place. He's made himself another little mistake. Then Gunnar Gamble comes into the pits. He's having no more of the battle, and at the moment, Floppy Fox is staying out. So how much of an in-lap, out-lap are we going to see then? SOP Cools, of course, back out on the track, but it's SOP Milden. That is the key. Where is he going to come out? Or sorry, where is Gunnar Gamble going to come out compared to SOP Milden's? And is Floppy Fox going to respond in kind? Is he going to pit at the end of this lap, or is he going to run a much longer first stint? Remember, he could conceivably stay out for another 25 minutes at least. So certainly his pit stop options are very much in his hands at the moment, and he could well be using Milden and Gunnar Gamble as a gauge to see just how effective the undercut is. Gunnar Gamble very much still stationary as SOP Milden is coming through the last two corners. He's going to come on to the start-finish straight. Gunnar Gamble is still stationary. I tell you what, the undercut is going to work an absolute treat here. Gunnar Gamble just been dropped. He's right at the end of the pit stable there. We can see SOP Milden. So, wow.
There we
Undercut
go.
101, one and done, Jess. Milden has absolutely done Gunnar Gamble in the pits. Floppy Fox next. Oh, what does he do?
I think he's got to respond surely, but they probably do not know the pace of the other drivers and where they are position-wise in the grid. So, but I'm sure that if Floppy Fox knows that Milden's in the timing tower soon, Floppy Fox has got to get a move on. I think Khalifa could do what he wants, really, to be honest, because he's got a comfortable gap between himself and Camo Babo. Flying Frome as well, he's got a comfortable gap between himself and Floppy Fox, but Flying Frome responds before Car Mentalist, but Car Mentalist can pit when he wants. He's got a comfortable gap already. Wherever he comes out, he's going to be ahead. So Flying Frome definitely has free reign in terms of pit stops, but he decides to pit early. Khalifa pits as well. Oh, this may not give Floppy Fox some hope, because Khalifa could be ahead of Floppy Fox, because he was about 2 seconds behind Floppy Fox, Khalifa was. So we shall see. I wonder if Floppy Fox wants to have low fuel in the final half of the race with the fresher tyres. It's going to be a tall order for the Bentley, but we will see, as Cablo is also in the pit. So the greens mean that you've done your pit stops, and if you still have a 1 next to your name, which means you've still got to do your mandatory pit stop. Car Mentalist, if he pits, he will still come out in the net race lead. Blue Mosquito's doing a brilliant job as well. Blue Mosquito will probably have to respond to Khalifa as well. Flying Frome comes out, and he comes out still in third. Wow, he will be in a net P2, I believe, because I'm almost certain he's going to be ahead of Floppy Fox when Floppy Fox pits. Wait,
well, he's definitely ahead of Milden.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got the drop on Gunnar Gamble and Milden. So really, his only rival for second place at the moment is Floppy Fox. He's going to need to put in some Olympic in and out laps to put Frome under pressure, I would guesstimate.
Yes.
Frome is absolutely flying in that Ferrari, it has to be said. We can see some of the pit stops iron out. There we go. So we'll see, yep, so still a healthy 10-second gap there from Flying. That's not easy to say too many times. Flying Frome. There we go. That's what we keep chasing about. She is clearly the superior at this, and it is Milden and second. Flying Frome. So sorry, he is the man holding on to second place at the moment. So a great drive in the Lambo from Flying Frome. Of course, he qualified in second. and he's held on to that position. Let me just see, sorry. Yeah, he did qualify in second position, and he still is overall in second. Of course, that's down to Floppy Fox. I really don't think he's putting the type of laps needed to put any major pressure on Flying Throme. His target will, of course, be to get out ahead of SOP Milden. Khalifa as well has gotten himself ahead, actually. Is that really happening? Wow, Khalifa has gotten himself ahead of Gunnar Gamble then, Jess. So that puts Khalifa, that means he's now battling for a podium position. We've got 3 drivers just come into pits then, Kyle Gazuman and Blue Mosquito from the mid-pack. Khalifa's very much taking his pick. Gunnar Gamble was in a battle for third position with SOP Milden. He has been undercut hugely by Milden, and now he's been overtaken on track by ERT Khalifa. He's looking to get himself back into a podium position after that qualifying showing. Will he close the gap on Milden? Where is he going to come out? Or sorry, where is Floppy Fox going to come out in this mix? There's still a good 15-20 minutes before Floppy Fox really needs to make a pit. So we are going to be on tender hooks until he comes in. There's the race leader though, Jess. Car Mentalist, race leader into the pits.
Well, he could pit whenever he wants, can he? He'll be ahead, so it doesn't matter when he pits. He could have pitted towards the end of the race and he could have been fine, but I guess he wants to get his stop out of the way so he doesn't forget about it, because nobody would want to forget their mandatory stop, of course. So he comes in. Ironically, the last pit stop box in the garage as well, so he doesn't have that long to go until he comes out of that. Floppy Fox stays out. What is he doing? I'm sure people are looking at this and thinking, why aren't you responding to the undercut? And maybe there may be an engineer watching this. He's the only driver that is still running who's yet to make a stop. And there's going to be fuel to take care of, so he'll be running out surely. But, you know, hopefully there's someone helping him in this race, knowing that there's people who did the undercuts well and worked wonders. He's going to, I think it's going to be, I'm going to call it, it's going to be Car Mentalist, Throme and Milden podium. I think Floppy is going to, I'm almost certain that Khalifa is going to be ahead of Floppy Fox the way this is going. So Floppy Fox will need to, like we said, pull the out lap of dreams in order to get this battle done. Has Floppy Fox or someone's gone wide? Anyway, that is the number 2 of Kieran. Yeah, that is the number 2. Luckily, we have the track map, and we also have the 175 of Cam K-Mum as well. I believe Cam is about to lap Kieran, because he's a few laps down. He has been struggling this race so far, Kieran, but to be honest, at least he's still going and is going strong and learning as every lap flies by on the track. So, I'm just seeing every lap go count down and down and down right now, and you can see the gap starting to close in on some of the drivers, in particular the ERT drivers of Camo Babo and Dexter. The 2 ERT love liveries fighting with each other. This is going to be very exciting as well, and Dexter's timed his pit stop strategy to perfection as well, to be fair. He's applying massive opposition. He's undercut quite a few drivers, including Honage Town as well. So there's other people that might have struggled a bit more. So Dexter, I have to say, fair play. His second half of the race, he's coming to his own here at the moment. And he must have been that he listened to me or something to just keep pushing. That's what he's doing, and he's doing very, very well. So fair play to him. And he's almost on the back of Kull as well in P7. About, actually, no, he's not. Actually, yeah, he is. 2.9 seconds is the gap there, and Floppy Fox still not going into the pits. Let us know in the chat, guys. We're almost 30 minutes to go of this race. Who do you think is going to get the win? Who do you think is going to get the podium? And when is Floppy Fox going to come into the pit lane to serve his mandatory stop? The drivers have been told about the rules. Of course, Kieran goes into the pit again. I believe that is for more damage, unfortunately, because otherwise there's no point in pitting. Cabo Babo is all over the back of Dexter now, and he is showing great pace compared to Dexter right now, but he just can't get past Blue Mosquito, he's on his own, as well as Cablo and Ponish Town and Gazerman. I think from about P11 downwards, they're just running their own battles at the moment. It's just got to a quiet stage of the race. I think it'll get quite busy towards the end of this race as more battles start to develop. Floppy Fox will probably be in some of these battles as well once he comes out of the pit lane. Don't forget, you lose a lot of lap times compared to some circuits, but not as much as others, not as much as Spa, not as much as Misano or Laguna Seca. So he should be fine, but he's got a lot of work to do. Is Floppy Fox going to slow down and go into the pits? Come on, Floppy Fox, go in. He's not going in, John. What is going on with this man?
Yeah, he is definitely. Well, I mean, I've seen him race before. He definitely knows what he's doing. And he perhaps feels at the moment, although, I mean, I'm with you at the moment. I mean, keeping an eye on his lap times. And at the moment, he is lapping slower than ERT Khalifa. So Khalifa is definitely closing that gap down. I'm on board with somebody else at the moment. But I can confirm, there we go, I'm on board with Floppy now. And yeah, he has done a 59.3. His last lap was a 2-minute .8. He's lapping about the 2 minute, the high 2 minutes, low 2 minute ones, whereas Khalifa is doing the very low 2 minutes at the minute. So Khalifa is definitely monstering into that gap. 29 minutes left to go. An hour and 15 minutes is the total time of the race. So the drivers have been on track for 45 minutes at the moment. Which means he does easily have about another 15 minutes of fuel, so could be another 15 minutes elapsed before we see Floppy come in to the pits. Car Mentalist is absolutely still destroying the rest of the field. He is closing the gap at a very commensurate pace to Floppy Fox out in front of him. He's still lapping in the 58s. He's just done a 58.8 after coming out the pits. So he could well retake first position before Floppy even comes in to take his pit stop. Still points battles all over the field, Jess. I've just witnessed Camel Babel, as you mentioned, him and Dexter still battling away, and there was very nearly a Hamilton Verstappen coming together there into what is turn 1 for these drivers. Of course, turn 4 for the Formula 1 gang. And Camel Babel ran himself a bit wide there into turn 1. Blue Mosquito lurking in the background. But obviously the teammates not wanting to take one another out. So Camel Babel taking huge avoiding measures. But he does seem to be the quicker of the two drivers at the moment. But Dexter using every inch of the track as legally as possible to hang on to that position. And really is going to make Camel Babel work for that position if he wants it. Points up for grabs. Cool has got himself back up to 11th because he's just put a move on Ponage Town. So it's a great recovery drive from Cool. We did think him and Milden would both climb up the rankings. Cool has dropped right down, but he's made a claw all the way back up. And of course Milden we see in the moment at 4th, but we're going to guesstimate that he is in fact in 3rd place, given Floppy has still got to take this pit stop. Key back in the pits once again, but still putting in the laps almost an hour into the, 45 minutes now. We are into the race here at Silverstone. Oh, and I tell you what, Cool's run wide. Cool's just run wide, and Ponage Town has retaken 11th position then. So the Village Complex proving to be tricky for the Lamborghini this evening. Flying From having a couple of wiggles through there himself early doors, and the Lamborghini guided by SOP Cool not finding it a happy hunting ground either. Quite to the contrary for the Bentley, although just as we say that, comes to the commentator. Right, well, Luffield, and it is the Lamborghini, takes it inside, takes the right hand curb over on the left hand curb. He's in prime position for turn 1, so the position retaken then very quickly by SOP Cool. And he's run wide, yes. I'm not sure I can keep up. Is the Bentley going to get the overtake done again coming through church? Quite possibly. Maggots and Beckett's is going to be another happy hunting ground, I think, for one of these cars. And I'll tell you what, SOP Cool took pole position in the first race, Jess, but he's really seems to have struggled tonight. And Floppy Fox There we go, Jess. We'll go from one question straight to another. He's finally done it.
Yay!
26 minutes left to go. Floppy Fox is in the pits. Where are we going to see? Oh, who's going to come out ahead of him? Car Mentalist is definitely going to come past. He's coming past the start.
And Flying Frame as well, I think, as well. He's not that far off.
Flying Frame. He's definitely Milden, I would say.
It's going to be close between Khalifa and Floppy Fox, I think.
Yeah, Gunnar Gamble as well. He could well be in the mix. Floppy Fox is stationary. Car Mentalist. Yep, he's already well and truly onto his lap. There comes Flying Frome at the moment. He's just coming along the start-finish straight now, so there he goes past Floppy Fox in the pits. Milden comes past the pit entrance. Floppy Fox still stationary. Milden onto the start-finish straight, and Floppy is moving. Khalifa then comes on to the start-finish straight.
Oh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight.
Oh, this is going to be close, yeah.
Number 2, stop go. That is for Kieran as Khalifa.
Got it done.
I'm just trying to see who's ahead. Khalifa's ahead, and I think
Gunnar Gamble's just behind. Gunnar Gamble is coming at the Maggots and Beckett's.
It's just the timing is just not updating. Luckily, we can rely on the track map, which is good. So I had a feeling Khalifa was going to be ahead because he was a few seconds behind Floppy Fox before, and because Floppy Fox was not pitted for so long, I think this gave the undercut advantage to ERC Khalifa. And Floppy Fox, just to put it into perspective, he has lost 3 seconds to Khalifa in the space of what, 10, 15, 20 minutes? So yeah, I actually
think it's a lot more than that, if I'm honest.
Oh, is it? I can't do maths.
Floppy Fox was just ahead of Milden before the pits. He was just ahead of Milden.
Oh, right. So he's probably lost more than 3 seconds.
Floppy and Gunnar Gamble. Gunnar Gamble was ahead of Floppy Fox and SOP Milden. So he has dropped massively there, but he's still very much in touch with Floppy Fox. Milden has gained hugely there, and so is ERT Khalifa. So those two drivers absolutely on point with their pit strategy. Floppy and Gunnar, the big losers in that exchange of the pits. I'm not sure, like you say, Floppy, he's lost a good 21 seconds.
That is,
I would say.
That is a lot.
Yeah, well, he was ahead of Milden. Milden's 11 seconds ahead of Khalifa. Oh no, 11, 14, 15, yeah, so someplace in and around about that. So he's lost a lot of time. He's definitely lost a lot of time, and so has Gunnar Gamble. Gunnar now losing time again to Floppy Fox. He's now a second and a half down. So Floppy's gathering his pace again. Now that he's out the pits, could he close the gap on Khalifa? Khalifa's got Milden just ahead of him, and he's got a back marker to give himself a bit of slipstream to sneak through there. That is the Honda Blair Grills. In fact, no, is that a McLaren? No, it's not. It is Blair Grills. Yeah, he'll very quickly get out of the way. So not too much slipstream advantage then for Keith. Comes into the pit, sorry, to take his drive-through penalty. He got a stop-go for speeding in the pit lane. So definitely a steep learning curve for Kieran tonight, but he is still racing. We've got 22 minutes left to go. He's definitely going to see out the proceedings. Car Mentalist, though, he's put on an absolute clinic, Jess. 25 laps in, only about 10 laps left to go, and that is, I mean, surely that has been a phenomenon. I mean, that's just absolute perfection from him so far, and makes it unbelievably difficult for us to pick 2 drivers of the day to nominate because,
Oh! Blair Grills has spun! Blair Grills has spun, and he almost hit Floppy Fox as well.
Oof.
That was so close, Blair Grills, but hopefully he doesn't have any damage, but I don't know how Floppy Fox avoided that, I have to say, but yeah, he's probably caught unawares there, does Blair Grills, so he's all the way down to 17th position. Kull is in the pit again, so he must have got damage somewhere else, so I don't have a clue at this point, I really don't. As to what has happened to Blair Grills.
He did look like Blair Grills spun, but yeah, SOP Gold did like he had a bit of damage on his front bumper, so could well be coming in to get that fixed. I'm just on board with Camel Babel at the minute, Jess. This battle with him and Dexter, and it's now invited Blue Mosquito in. They've closed up. I did say that I thought Camel Babel had slightly more pace at the moment, but Dex is defending absolutely magnificently and is definitely bringing the Audi driving Blue Mosquito right back into the thick of things.
Blue Mosquito, I have to say, Blue Mosquito started in 13th position in this race. He's all the way up into 9th, so he's gained quite a lot of people have gained a few this race. Guna Gamble started 8th, is up into 6th. Milden started 7th, up into 3rd. Flying Frome and Carl Mentalist have maintained positions. Khalifa's dropped down 1. Felipe, what am I on with Felipe? Floppy Fox has gained 1 position. Dexter has dropped a few, I think he's dropped 2. Guna Gamble's gained 2, yeah, I mentioned about in Ponage Town. He's dropped quite a few positions. Cool, obviously, has dropped a few. Connor's not in this race anymore. Camo Babbo, who I think we're in a battle with right now between him, Blue Mosquito, and Dexter. Camo Babbo's gained quite a few places. He started 12th, up into 8th position as well. Gazaman, he started 14th. He's gained 3 positions, doing quite well for himself as well. Eddie has gained quite a few positions as well. Started 17th, up into 13th. Cam has also gained positions, actually. Started 18th, finished in 50th at the moment. But this could all change in the final 20 minutes of this second round of ACC Season 1. As Blue Mosquito has lost a bit of time to Camo Babbo just a moment ago as they head towards the infamous Wellington Straight as someone has gone wide.
Blair Grill's gone out the way.
That is Blair Grills going out the way, because don't forget, you do not get ghosted if you're being lapped. So
none of that.
No. So you do not want to get lapped at all. So, and you do not want to get hit, because you will get a penalty for it, as we found out from quite a few people last week. So we'll see what happens as this is probably the most dominant performance I've seen from Car Mentalist in a long time. Just look at the timing tower and see what the gap is to first and second, and I'll let you be the judge of that.
That's incredible.
What's his last lap?
Let's have a look and see. His last lap, 158.4, so only a 10th off his quickest of the race so far.
I can't even do that. I can't even get into the 158s on in ACC.
Qualifying with no fuel, fresh tyres, perfect track conditions. I couldn't get close to that.
I couldn't even get close to that either. So Carmental's doing a great job. So is Flying Frame as well. He's got a comfortable gap behind and in front, so he could just take it easy as well, as long as he doesn't let any of those drivers behind catch up as well. Khalifa got a charging Floppy Fox now. Floppy Fox's fresh tyres and fuel is definitely coming into fruition now. Khalifa must be struggling right now. Floppy Fox wants to get rid of the overcut disadvantage and get past Khalifa.
Lap of the race.
Who? Floppy Fox?
Floppy Fox by almost a second. He's just done a 159.2.
There we go.
So he is definitely coming alive in the second stint, Jess. And absolutely. Oh, and Khalifa!
Khalifa's gone wide, and as you said, Floppy Fox going alive and coming alive. He is in a Hills Are Live moment, and he's up in the 4th place now. Khalifa must be fuming. And we just had word from SOP Kull in the chat. He said he had to retire, absolutely raging. He must be very unfortunate about what happened to him, but...
Oh, Dee's in the chat as well. Hi, Dee. How we doing, bud? How's the knee?
There we go.
From the surgery.
And we also got Colin, one of our management members as well, that helped with
Colin.
the race results in ACC and in F1. He said he's hoping that he doesn't pull off commentator's curse on Car Mentalist. He said a superb drive from Car Mentalist, and he's hoping there isn't a commentator's curse. Well,
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Even if he binned it, he's still going to be ahead, because he only had a slight spin last week. Forget, he only had a slight spin, but the gap was so much closer last week. So, could we see him in the podium interviews as a race winner around Silverstone? Let's hope the curses of Silverstone do not come back to bite him in about 15 minutes' time. Yellow flag, that is the number 2 of Kieran, and I think he's got damage again. His car does not look good, just saying that. I think he's probably given up. I think he just parked the car near the gravel, so I think that is his race.
Blue Mosquito.
Blue Mosquito in 9th position.
You almost climbed into the back of Camel Babble's Bentley there.
Jesus Christ,
that
man.
Was a full-on Code Brown through club. He was very close. Yeah, indeed. Indeed, he very, very nearly made contact there. He's shown enough pace to easily keep up with Camel Babble. He's shown the pace to get the move done on Dex, but Dex still defending there. Blue Mosquito was trying to make a double move, and he's falling foul. He's giving Camel Babble a bit of breathing space now to try and gather himself and see if he can get the move done on Dexter before the Blue Mosquito comes buzzing around at his ears once again. Along the Wellington Straight, they're going to charge for the 29th time of asking. That's them being on track for an hour. Key once again having some issues there. The back tyres absolutely melted, having difficulty getting himself some traction. He's back into the pits along with Ponystone Cool and H Racing Green. So Silverstone showing absolutely no mercy on our drivers this evening, and Camel Babble looking to show no mercy on team manager Dexter here. It's Bentley versus Ferrari around the 3.6 mile circuit of Silverstone. Coming through the GT3 turn 1. Both men taking a very quick line through there. It's definitely looking like the Bentley has taken the quicker of the two though. Blue Mosquito trying to gather himself and close this gap back up again, back to within 1.4 seconds through Chapel Curve. The Bentley still chasing the Ferrari. We can see Blue Mosquito lurking in the background, trying to get himself back up here. Every point as precious as the next here for the 5-week championship. This is of course week 2. We've still got Hungaroring, Zolder and Monza.
The Bentley! Oh, the Bentley almost got the move done on Dexter there. My oh my, that was close. But I think this is going to be a ding-dong battle towards the end of the race. Maybe Camo Babbo has probably got something left in him towards the end. Maybe he's just okay trying to stay behind Dexter, but he knows that Blue Mosquito is chasing him, so he's got to move ASAP, because otherwise Blue Mosquito may take advantage as well. So these three, definitely the battle to watch in this race. There's not much happening elsewhere as Dexter's gone wide. Dexter's gone wide. This could leave a lot of room to Blue Mosquito as we head towards the Wellington Straight. Oh, that must be heartbreaking. That is Cabo Babbo up into 7th position. He probably didn't want to hand it to him like that, but Camo Babbo is gained the position anyway. And Blue Mosquito, let's see what he could do with less pressure now, knowing that Dexter's had a bit of a slide. Not the best of races from Dexter, but I'm sure he'll come back at it once we head to the Hungaroring next week. Blue Mosquito looking a lot better heading into Woodcote now on the start-finish straight. So not a move into Cops just yet, but plenty of opportunities in this race to make amends for these drivers. And I think Camo Babbo is pulling off a good gap, so this may be P7 confirmed, but you never know, you can't become complacent. Ponish Town is also in the pit again. Is that retirement for Ponish Town? I don't know, but we will find out towards the end of the race. So as Kieran is still going, even though he's 11 laps down, he's still going. Bravo to Kieran. He gets Endeavour. He gets an Endeavour award today, I have to tell you that. But Blue Mosquito almost went to the right-hand side of Dexter. Couldn't quite do it. Can he make it through Stone? No, not quite. He does have another look into Vale, potentially. Not close enough, unfortunately. But I have to say, these three drivers, huge respect to both of them. And these drivers are keeping it a lot cleaner than last week. Obviously, these ACC drivers get on very well in the chats. You obviously don't know this, but they do have their own chat in the OneHub Discord, which you can follow, by the way. You can follow our Discord, which is somewhere, I think on OneHubRacing's Twitter anyway. And in the ACC chat, they just get on like a house on fire, I have to say. Even if they have an incident, they they could just talk about random things after the race. It's so great. Sometimes when I have a bad race, I don't talk in the chat for like even a whole evening until the morning or something like that. I'm just so frustrated. These guys, they just sometimes forget that there's an incident happening and just focus on the next race in hand, which is a HungaRoRacing. 11 minutes and 25 seconds left to go. Massive shout out to all 15 of you watching the stream. One of the highest we had in a long time actually on ACC anyway, so thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
I hope you're all having a great evening. I'm glad you're deciding to share it with us, really, to be honest, as well. And we got Frantech in the chat who's saying...
I'll be back in 2 seconds. I need to shift some fans. Sorry, back to it.
No worries. And we got Frantech in the chat who said... Multi 21 Camo Babo, Multi 21. I'm guessing Camo Babo needs to push now if he wants to keep Dexter. Why are the cameras being a nightmare heading towards the hangar straight? It's so annoying. Just don't. And just look at the gap he's pulling already. He's pushing up great lap times at this moment in time. So I think he's going to be doing absolutely fantastic as the final 10 minutes kick over. We got another yellow flag. Don't know who that is, but we will go through your race order. Car Mentalist is your race leader. Incredible pace from him. And there's a number 14 of Blair Grills that's had an off, unfortunately. So he is luckily joined back the circuit, I think. Flying Foam in second. Milden in third position. Still. So that is what the podium is looking like at the moment. Floppy Fox, unfortunately, is unable to challenge the likes of Milden, but I'm sure he'll be happy with fourth. Anyway, Khalifa is currently sitting in fifth. And without that slide he had earlier, do you think he would have challenged Floppy Fox for fourth? Who knows? Gonna Gamble, sixth position right now. Much better than last week. Last week he had a DNF. This time we've had, I think, about 5 DNFs so far. So, yeah, I think we've had Cool that's DNF'd, H-Racing Green that's DNF'd, Connor has DNF'd as well. And I'm trying to figure out, because we've got 18 drivers, I wonder who else we're missing. Maybe someone has disconnected. It might be Ponish Town, actually. Yeah, it is Ponish Town. So Cool, H-Racing Green, Connor, and Ponish Town are out of this race. And we've got Mr. John back for the last 9 minutes of this race. And we just had a word in the chat where someone has said multi-21, Camo Babo, multi-21. And yeah, I love it. I love this chat. It's absolutely popping tonight. And I think since Camo Babo got past both Dexter and Blue Mosquito, he is pulled away. So I think P7 is his.
Yeah, I think it is. It did suggest that he may have had more pace than Dex. He was just finding to get an overtake done on a wily campaigner such as Dex, but it's definitely proved to be 3.2 seconds. Is now the gap that the ERT teammates find between them, and that's of course only going to be aided with Blue Mosquito. Certainly aided for Camo Babo, with Blue Mosquito buzzing ever closer around at the back of Dex's Ferrari. So this is definitely 8th place, still up for grabs at the moment. Less than 8 minutes left to go though. Camo Babo definitely showing that clean pair of heels. I've just turned all the fans, it's still overheating, but we're fine. Car Mentalist though, he's getting mentions in the chat. Oh, great debut by Gazaman, says Colin, loves that. Great
I agree.
Guy, says
I agree.
Johnny I agree with that as well. I'll make sure I send you that check, Johnny. I believe it was £2.50. Thanks very much for that. Car Mentalist, so Car Mentalist, yeah. 33 laps in, he is absolutely annihilating the rest of the field. He's coming up to a lap. Cam, come on, I do believe. Flying Frome, though, let's not underestimate Flying Frome's drive here. He has absolutely hung on to that second place with some very quick laps, lapping in the low 1 minute 59s. So definitely got the grips on that Lamborghini. 36 seconds he is in arrears to Car Mentalist. Absolutely no shame in that. Over a second a lap, Car Mentalist has been taken out the field, and that has been for the whole hour and 9 minutes so far. Milden, though, on the podium. Floppy Fox not quite able to close the gap at the moment, and he's definitely running out of time. So could we see Milden with a second trip onto the podium in as many weeks? He certainly needed that recovery drive, as I mentioned earlier. With him winning in week 1 and Carmentalist finishing in second, at one point he was staring down the barrel of finishing in 6th place. So as far as recovery drives go and damage limitation, Milden has definitely done absolutely everything he can here. And I tell you what, all it's done is light up the top of the championship, because if I'm not mistaken, the two of them are going to be on very, very, very close points indeed. Carmentalist will have the slight lead going into week 3. Flying From could be the flying ointment. I did say Floppy Fox was a podium contender. 3.9 seconds, so he's definitely pesting for a podium. Found himself in second place early doors, but a couple of unforced errors have found the Fox down in 4th, just ahead of Gunnar Gamble in 5th position in the McLaren. Khalifa is still in 6th with Camel Babo. Now well off and running in 7th. He's hanging on to that position for all he can. Dex and Blue Mosquito still battling it out though for 8th place. It could make that extra point from that extra position, could make all the difference come the final checkered flag at Monza in 3 weeks' time. Blue Mosquito still buzzing there in the Audi, and the best finisher in the Audi. It's been a very British dominated affair up at the top there, with 2 McLarens and 2 Bentleys in the top 5. The Lamborghini and the Mercedes of Khalifa, the only 2 flies in the all-British ointment. Oh, I tell you what, Blue Mosquito is definitely looking to be a fly in the ointment for Dex Dexter here. Coming through Chapel Curve, he's got that gap closed along the Wellington Straight. He is well within slipstream range. Is he going to try and make a move here? Is he going to hang on to the Wellington Straight? Dex shows him the outside. Blue Mosquito tries to break that a little bit earlier to get a tighter line in, get a better run on the exit, and I tell you what, he's absolutely done that. We can see the gap close. He's going to go around the outside again. Dex leaving him exactly the right amount of space, showing him exactly where he needs to go if he wants to get the overtake done. Not able to make it stick this time, so Blue Mosquito is going to gather himself and make another chat. Definitely looking to get that 8th place back from Dexter. Can Dex hold on? Really struggled early doors. Stint 1. He's trying to make up for it now though. He got himself back up to 8th place. So he is running well, but Blue Mosquito, even despite that spin earlier and slightly cooked tyres, he's still got that Audi absolutely dialed in here. Less than 4 minutes to go. Where is an hour and 15 minutes gone? That is incredible. Carmentalist is still comfortably in the lead of the race. I'm not even sure Cursor, the commentator, could slow him down at this stage. From in second and Milden still in 3rd, but Floppy Fox is closing that gap. He's found half a second in the last minute. If he keeps that up, he's going to get to within half a second. So if Milden can keep up this exact pace, he's going to be fine. Any more slight mistakes and he will find the Floppy one very, very, very close indeed. Oh, 3.3 seconds it is now. So the gap is dropping, but you do feel that might just be a little too much of a gap too late in the race. Floppy will of course have the fresher tyres. He did pit very, very, very late compared to his competitors. He has actually beaten his quickest lap of the race in the last 2 laps with a 59.1. His last lap though was a 2-minute. Milden, that's not the screen you want, John, that's the screen you want. He's just done a 2:06 as well, so almost an identical time him and Floppy have just done. Wow, so it really is a long distance game of chess between these 2 drivers in the closing 2 minutes. Oh, I tell you what, Jess, I'm not sure I could handle all more of the drama that we had at the end of Spa last week.
Honestly, the results last week, we were so confused about what was going on. Luckily, Dexter told us that when we saw the result screen, that was when the result counted. So, fingers crossed, we should actually see them cross the line this week. So, ACC, you know what to do. Please. Anyways, if you have liked the action so far, don't forget to follow us on Twitch. If you haven't already followed us, please do. That would support the league even more. Also, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and check out our website. All the links are in on the About OneHubRacing bit of the website, of the Twitch channel. So you can click all of them, give us a follow, and you can find out when we're next streaming there, because every stream on Twitch and YouTube gets publicised on our Twitter page, so you know when we're live, what streams are happening, and where they're going to be streamed as well. That's the important thing. So this is going to be the battles to end all battles. 1 minute to go of the race, and we will see hopefully the leader on the final lap sign very shortly. And I think Carmentis will be about to start his final lap if the game doesn't throw a hissy fit on us like it did last week. But
pray to the sim racing gods.
Yeah, Franatech is already congratulating Carmentis on the win. It's not over yet. The race is not over. Certain things could happen. Don't count your chickens. Carmentis hasn't even crossed the line yet to finish the race. He's on the final lap. He's on the final lap. At least we got this week. Last week we got it too late. So there we go. We should be fine. Carmentis has driven an absolute treat tonight. And Cool just said in the chat, his internet got put back on just after qualifying. Unfortunately, got big damage due to 3 incidents involving the same driver. Big respect to the driver, though, Ponish Town, for sending a message apologising. Good sportsmanship, I have to say, from both of those drivers. And it's on to next week now for him. What a shame for Cool, because he was in P3 last week. So he's got redemption to uphold next week. But, you know, like I said earlier, that these drivers know how to get along and apologise with some good sportsmanship, eh? So that is great to see.
Yep, and always these incidents, you'll find they will iron themselves out over a season. You put 20 cars on track vying for position, it only takes the slightest misjudgment. You can end up finding yourself with a whole lot of carbon fibre lying by the side of the track, and a very, very, very unhappy race driver or two. So hopefully Cool can gather himself, and as you say, we've got some cracking tracks still to come. HungAroring, Zolder and Monza.
It's going to be great.
Oh, they are, yeah, they're absolutely fabulous. It's going to be phenomenal. Will we see some more Carmentis domination? Flying through in the Lamborghini will be a force to be reckoned with at Monza, that is for sure. And that's definitely a decent car around HungAroring and Zolder as well. So we could see the Lamborghini driver really putting Carmentis to the sword. Milden still hanging on to 3rd place. We're on the last lap, and it's just as well from 2.9 seconds. It's now the gap back to Floppy. So he did manage to steady the ship ever so
Let's
slightly.
watch Carmentis. He's about to cross the line.
Here he goes and comes around the last corner. There is the checkered flag, and there is our race winner, Carmentis. Race number 2 finds himself on the podium once again, but it is an improved position this week. 38 laps, 1 hour and 15 minutes, and a mandatory pit stop, and it is the McLaren driving Carmentis that takes home the checkered flag with a very large gap. Even with all my stalling and procrastination, we're still waiting on Flying Throne to cross the finish line. He's just coming round the last corner now as we speak. He is going to take 2nd place. It will be SOP Milden. He too, just like Carmentis, will be having a 2nd trip to the podium in as many weeks, and just like Carmentis, it will be on a different position. Only his is 2 steps down, and Carmentis is 1 step up. There's a checkered flag for SOP Milden. And Floppy Fox started in 7th, found himself finishing in 4th place. Great opening race for Floppy here, or a great debut race. Gunnar Gamble is going to come home to take 5th position, and it will be ERT Khalifa who will lead home the ERT trio of himself, Camel Babel, and team leader Dexter. 6th, 7th and 8th for the ERT drivers this evening. Blue Mosquito, after a great drive, is going to find himself in 9th place, with Gazaman taking 10th.
Then he must 11th. Have got Cablo. He must have got Cablo in the final lap.
Yeah, I think he did. Oh yeah, he must have actually.
Because he was 11th. Gazaman was 11th, and he got past Cablo. What a debut for Gazzaman. What a debut. He's going to come across the line now. I have to say, to be fair, no offence to Gaz or anything, I was not expecting big things for this man. And he climbed so many positions. He's up to 10th. He's just incredible. And then we got Cablo in 11th, Carl 12th, Eddie 13th, Cam in 14th, Blair Grills 15th. SOP Cool has retired. Kieran is in 17th, and with H Racing Green also retired, as well as Connor and Ponage Town. There are your results, and I'm going to screenshot it for our lovely Colin. Colin, you can thank me later. Yeah, that was brilliant. I have to say, so many contenders for driver of the day. I just can't choose. There's quite a few people doing a few demolition derbies out there at the moment, and all the eyes now are set for the next race in the Hungaroring as I get the results in the chat. Then I could get the welcome screen back on the stream. There we go. So I need to actually work out who has got the comeback point this week. So inside the top 10, I'm just trying to see what has happened. So Gazzaman started 14th, finished 10th, so he's gained 4 positions. Guna Gamble has gained 3 positions. Floppy Fox has gained 2 positions. Milden has gained, let me just have a look. Milden started 7th, 6, 5, 4, 3. He's gained 4 as well. Oh, that's tough. Blue Mosquito, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. So I think at the top 10 goes to Blue Mosquito. I think he got the comeback point. But I'm going to let the results man of Colin and Cam do the maths. They can work out the comeback points. We just do the commentary. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to see if we could get any of our top 3 for some interviews, and I think Car Mentalist must be feeling very happy after tonight, because last week was such a disappointment after not getting that race victory last week. But this week he has done it. The curse has finally been lifted in Silverstone for Car Mentalist. He's not had a rubbish race around here, so it's all good for him. The stars were aligning. There we go.
Yeah, they really did align for him this evening, Chess. An absolutely dominant display, and as you say, after the disappointment last week and the ghost of Silverstone past, yeah, it definitely is a drive of redemption this evening, and it's going to put Car Mentalist very comfortably at the top of the table when the points are added up going into next week's Hungaroring race. It's really unprofessional to sound so excited, but what can you do?
Who cares? You can get excited. Shush.
Oh my goodness me. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Once again, Dex will be looking to improve on his opening stint. I'm absolutely sure of that. I'm just looking to see if we've got anybody jumping into the interview
Commentalist is thinking of joining.
Excellent. Excellent. Where is he? Jump in. Don't think, do. It's all about the action, my friend. Come on, you can do it. Get in the cams box. Come and say hello. But great race. We've got Fran Trek. Great GG's, everyone. Great race. Awesome comms. Oh, I'm blushing. Thanks very much. No, thank you. Of course, give the guys at OneHub a follow as well. Get the follow button. Come on. Get watching. Thank you to everybody that's been in the chat as well. We're just loitering with intent. We should hopefully have someone jump in. Who's going to be jumping in? Are we getting Car Mentalist? Oh, he's going to be joining us in a second. Fantastic. So yeah, so we'll get him. Can we get Milden in?
I hope so. He's trying to figure out how to join at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, if we could get Milden in as well, that would be good. And of course, our other podium finisher, Flying Frome in the Lambo.
Whilst we wait for those people, we got one thing to decide.
Ah.
We forgot.
Yeah, no, I was stalling because I know that you've got ladies first, obviously, so you get to pick.
No. I was first last week. You go first this week. Who's your driver of the day? What would you like to ask him?
It's got to be Carmentalist. I'm sorry, but it's got to be Carmentalist. Absolutely dominant position. A dominant race. Pole position to checkered flag. Never looked phased. What would I like to ask him? Did you expect to be so dominant at Silverstone? And do you see the rest of the season panning out the same as this evening?
Oh, nice. I think that's what I would have gone for as well. But I'm going to go for a different driver out of the ordinary. I usually sometimes go for the driver that's made up the biggest positions, but I'm not going to do that this week. I'm going to go for a man that's been always under the radar in terms of ACC, has came from the transition from F1 to ACC. He's doing a great job with his first ever league race at ACC ever, because don't forget there has been the inaugural events, but there weren't even league race conditions. So I'm going to have to give it to Gazaman as my driver of the day nomination. And my question to him is, did you exceed expectations tonight, and how does it feel to finish in the top 10 in your OneHubRacing ACC debut? And I think that's a question and a half there. I'm sure Gaz is going to be happy with picking me picking him. Give me a 5 at the end of the night, please. Right, we don't have Carmentalist, but we do have. Oh yeah, we do. But I think we're gonna start. Milden's been waiting the longest. So shall we do from P3 to P1?
Yeah, let's do that then. Let's do that.
I'll hand it over to you, and I'll drag. Oh, you already dragged him in. Oh, wait, he's gone.
He's jumped back out again. Let me just drag him back in, and he's jumping back out again.
Right. Let's one of us touch him. Not both of us touch him.
There we go. It's worth this time. Technology,
Woo!
finally.
There we go.
He won round 1, and he's just found himself on the podium after a very difficult and quite a few overtakes involved here around Silverstone. It is SOP Milden. How you feeling after that race, bud?
Sweaty. I'm like a fat kid in the cake shop. I'm like, yeah, it's not good.
No. So, a tough shift. I mean, you really did have to work for that podium there. I mean, you qualified 7th position, and you made that up to the podium.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a few overtakes at the start, and then it was just trying to keep up with, I think it was Gunnar Gamble to start with, and we were pretty much the same pace. We could see the two in front of us battling, so just there was option sort of thing, and then just pulled the undercut at the right time. Seemed to work quite well.
That is an understatement. That undercut worked an absolute treat. It got you a massive gap, not only to Gunnar Gamble, but Floppy Fox, new in the league. But he's certainly given himself a decent show, and he was keeping yourself and Gunnar very, very honest there in that battle for third before the pit stops.
Yeah, well, we know he's fast from SOP and stuff like that, so I knew he was going to come, after the pit stop. So I knew he'd have pretty much fresher tyres than me, like 20 minutes fresher or whatever. So I knew he'd be going for it. So I was trying to stay in the 59s, but eventually my tyres they were dead.
Yep.
And I was just trying to maintain the gap to him if I could. So.
Yeah, but maintain it you did in that second stint. A bit ropey towards the end, but must be very, very satisfying. Not only get yourself back on the podium, but a nice clean race. A couple of incidents in the first race, but did see you take the top spot. Some interesting shenanigans at the end with the server running out, but this time no misconceptions with the finishing result. But third place. How do you rate that drive against, obviously you won last week's race, but still to get third against this field around the track, how does this one feel compared to last week? And what do you think this is going to do for the championship yourself, fighting for it going forward?
Well, obviously I was a bit worried with all the McLarens and that, they were in the league, and like the Lamborghinis and that. So, I mean, this drive was harder, definitely, because I had a really good car for the Spa race. But I was aiming for like top 5, so podiums. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, I would certainly be. I definitely would be. It's going to, certainly keep you in the championship hunt going forward. Jess, do you have any questions for our number 3 driver this evening?
Well, nice comeback drive for you to eventually get P3 as well. Heading into next week, do you think we're gonna see a Car Mentalist versus Milden battle again next week? Because we didn't see it this week, but are we gonna see it next week in the Hungaroring? Come on, please say yes.
I've never raced that track.
Oh, boo.
I've never actually done any laps around that track, but obviously I'll be practicing as much as I can. There's a better chance because obviously any track with curbs on it will affect the McLaren. Tonight I really did think he'd walk it, and he did, so fair play to him. Well done to Car Mentalist. And second place Flying Froome did an amazing job as well. After last week he really showed what he can do, so and I just want to say well done to Dean as well, Gonna Gamble, because he definitely has the pace.
He finally got some points as well this week. He had a DNF last week, only drive his DNF, and now he's got points on the board. Life is good for him, that's good.
Yeah, definitely, especially qualifying in 8th. I mean, he qualified in 8th and he made it up.
I've raced him many years, so I know what pace he's got and I know how fast he is. So, Harry Racing Green as well. I know he's going to be up there at some point as well. They're just really new to the game, so it takes a while to get used to everything.
Yes, it does. Highlighted by the fact that I'm in the comedy box and not holding on to a steering wheel. Speaking of the comedy box, shall we let Milden go give himself a wash, grab something to eat, and we'll grab our second place driver, Jess?
The mistakes.
He is in.
He is in.
Hello.
So thanks very much to Milden for joining us. But it is the man in the flying Lamborghini having a great comeback race this evening. Qualified in second position. Did not let that second position go with absolutely sterling first and second stints. Must be really, really, really happy with that drive tonight, Flying From.
Yeah, definitely. Especially after last week, it didn't really go according to plan. So, it was quite a quiet race after the first 5 laps, to be honest. It was, dare I say, a bit boring. But yeah, it's just the guy that I was just talking to him, Car Mentalist. I just had no answer to that. Pace were just insane. So yeah, just cruise to second place really. I think a lot of people behind me were battling, so it made it a little easier for me.
Yeah, there was definitely battle going on, but I mean, you say that aboard race, it's those type of races where it's very easy to make an unforced error. Concentration, absolutely key. So I don't think you should be playing down your achievements of the race quite that much. I mean, to keep that type of consistency around a track like Silverstone, because as we said in the intro, it certainly begs you for overtakes every time you get near a corner, and it's certainly a track where you feel that you can push the limits and just eke that little couple of tenths out of a lap. So as far as consistency goes, that must be a very good performance, and it definitely holds you in good stead given the tracks that we've got coming up.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you mean about they are difficult races when you're just driving around on your own. I hope you didn't catch it on stream, but oh my god, I nearly completely destroyed my car with about 5 laps to go. I was just cruising as well, but like you said, I just caught a curb wrong, and I think sometimes it's better to be fully focused with a car close to you. But yeah, I'm pretty happy all in all.
Yeah, I would say so. Avoided track limits, no stop-go penalties in the pits as well. So definitely a nice, clean race. We've seen drivers falling foul of that. We didn't see many this evening, which was good. Realistically, give us a go on. Be honest. Don't shy away from it. Where do you see yourself finishing the championship? Top 3?
I don't really know, because I think the cars are so track dependent. I think Car Mentalist, he's going to be up there every single race. But if you look at qualifying results from this week to last week, it's just so random.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Milden were a country mile in front of me last week, and now he's 10 seconds behind. So I kind of just think it depends on what car you've picked, what tracks we've got, and we'll just have to see how it goes, really. Consistency, I think, will, be more important than outright speed.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I keep saying it. Qualifying is vanity, race position, finishing position. That is the sanity, because that's what brings you in the points.
Exactly.
Indeed. Jess, any questions for our man on step number 2?
Well, I'm going to call you Mr. Consistent. Is that all right? After
Yeah, I'll
tonight.
take that.
Yeah, absolutely superb drive from you, I have to say. You're going to be doing well in the championship, I must say. Hungaroring. Have you driven it on this game, or are you going to have to do some more work like Milden did to possibly challenge the likes of Car Mentalist next week?
Yeah, I've driven it a few times. I've done a couple of PS4 leagues, so I know it quite well. Obviously, most people know all F1 tracks anyway pretty well, so you don't need to practice it that much. But yeah, I think the Lamborghini goes pretty well around there, so quite looking forward to that one.
Brilliant. Excellent job from you this evening. I'll let you celebrate with the champagne or squash or water, depending on how old you are. But there we go. John, shall we get in our race winner in the commentary box? He's been waiting long enough.
I think he has flying through him. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. But we are now joined by our race winner. Finds himself further up the podium than he was last week. To say dominant would be a massive understatement. Absolutely zen at one with that McLaren. And that was quite the performance, Car Mentalist. You can't be too many faults you've got to pick with that drive, I would say.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just tweeted, actually. I was just about to say, I think that is probably as close to a perfect race as I could get, I would say. That went absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it really did. You took pole position. At one point, we had 11 drivers within 1 second. 2 laps later, you were 9/10 clear in qualifying. That certainly boded well. I did say you needed a clean start to show the field a clean pair of heels. And yeah, between qualifying and those opening 5 laps to get that jump off the start, keep yourself in the lead. That certainly boded well for a stint one that well. I mean, you've just said it yourself. That was as close to perfection as you're likely to see.
Yeah. Qualifying was a real big surprise, actually. I've done a bit of practice throughout the week, and every time I'd hopped into the server, I think Floppy Fox might have been following me, because every time I hopped in the server, he was in there with me. And every time we were doing practice or anything like that, I was matching his speed in race and quali. So I was assuming that me and him would be very close at the front of the field. So yeah, that lap. The first lap I did was okay. I felt like I could have gone a few tenths faster, but to find a second on that run, I honestly don't have a clue where that came from. That's probably one of the best quali laps I've done on that game, just on this game ever, I would say. It was absolutely perfect. And then, like you say, yeah, a good clean start. Made sure I got into turn 1 first, and then from there, I didn't want to push too hard too early, because obviously Silverstone's quite hard on front tyres.
Yes.
So I didn't want to push too hard too early, especially with the pressures low. I just wanted to make sure that I was getting into a good rhythm. And then by the time I think we'd got about 15 minutes into the race, I really felt that I was in my stride. So then I started to push and build a bit more of a gap. So yeah, went absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. I was just looking over the timing there, and yeah, you purpled all 3 sectors in qualifying, and you absolutely purpled that start, it has to be said. The McLaren, very, very, very strong round here. It certainly bodes well for the rest. I mean, we were watching. Did you expect, I mean, realistically, please be honest. I mean, take the ego out of the equation. Did you expect to be a second a lap quicker than the field? Because every time you looked up at the time, we go lap 16 seconds ahead. Lap 18 seconds ahead. Lap 26 seconds ahead. It was, I mean, did you expect to find that kind of pace? You're saying you're qualifying. You were 2/10 quicker than Ben Gallagher, by the way, in the opening OneHub ACC races. Qualifying time was a 58.
No, Ben Gallagher was quicker. It was Car Mentalist was actually quicker than his own lap time that you said.
Okay. Got you. But realistically, did you expect the McLaren to perform that well against such a strong field?
Honestly, no, I didn't. I expected to be at the front, because I know that the McLaren is really, really strong at Silverstone. It's probably one of its better, if not its best tracks. So I knew that it was going to be strong there. And I knew I'd be at the front of the field, but the gap I had, I really didn't expect that. I think, especially with Floppy Fox being in there, and then the 2 SOP guys of Milden and Cool having such a good race at Spa, which is a track that I adore. And I think I perform at pretty much every time I go there. I was expecting it to be pretty close.
Yeah.
Froome as well. Froome had a good Spa, but I knew Froome had more speed in him, so I knew that it would come out here where it was a little bit easier, I'd say, to drive the Lambo. So I was expecting it to be maybe the five of us kind of at the front, like Floppy Fox, myself, Froome, and then the two S&P guys. But yeah, I honestly didn't expect the gap I had, especially after the practice that I'd done in the week as well. I was assuming it was going to be close. But yeah, no, had no idea that was coming, but a pleasant surprise, I would say.
Indeed. And it must be nice as well, because obviously you did win the top tier SOP, and Milden won the second tier. He did win the opening race, so silver got one over on gold. So I'm sure it was nice to put him firmly back in his place. We spoke to Flying Froome about it briefly. There's different types of pressure on a racetrack. There's one where you're constantly surrounded by cars, and then there's another type of pressure where you're on your own, out of the front perhaps, or just hanging on to that position. Any near misses, any lapses of concentration, or was that, like you say, as clean as a whistle and all the way to the end, nice and sweet?
I don't remember any big moments as such. I think the main, I'm assuming Froome probably said something along the same lines, but when you're kind of on your own, it's very easy to think that you can go like down a gear, and then you end up driving out of your comfort zone and you're making mistakes left, right, and center. So it's difficult to find the balance between backing off just a little bit to preserve your lead, but also not backing off too much to the point where you don't feel comfortable driving the car and you're making too many mistakes.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to keep the pace up and as consistently as possible. I think the only thing I think that I say the two things that I think that maybe went wrong for me in that race as such, I didn't have the greatest of pit stops. I think I was so adamant that nothing would go wrong in my pit stop that I played it too safe, and I nearly stalled the car like twice in the pit lane. So I mean, yeah, now obviously that can cost 10-15 seconds depending on how quickly it gets restarted. I mean, I think you remember Raven in the SOP race. I think I stalled in the pit lane in Kailami, I think it was, and I just couldn't get the car restarted for a good half a minute. So it can happen. And then the only thing was in the second stint, I did push a little bit too hard too early, trying to beat my own fastest lap, which I didn't do. And then I burnt the front tires out, so my car was understeering like crazy at the end of the race. But by that point, I had enough of a margin that I could back off a bit and not have to worry too much.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Jess, the man that sat at the top of the table. Any questions for him?
You pretty much answered all of them. I would say as well, after the lows of last week spinning in Radion as well, you were saying that this wasn't your highest moments as well, and we saw that Milden did not take the win this week. You edged out on the top. Could you go 2 for 2 next week in the Hungaroring, or are we going to see more of you battling next week? What is it going to be?
I definitely think it's going to be closer next week. I think the Hungaroring, while in terms of like elevation change and stuff like that, is fairly similar to Silverstone in that there's not a lot. The quick sequence of corners and stuff will definitely help out a lot of some of the mid-engine cars. And then on top of that, if you can be aggressive over curbs, that can really help you at Budapest. So I think it's going to level the playing field out just a little bit more next week. But I absolutely love the Hungaroring on this game, so I'm really looking forward to that race. My only concern is that I've never actually driven the Hungaroring in the McLaren. I've only ever driven that circuit in a front-engined car. So I'm going to have to, over the week, adapt to driving differently and taking different lines in the McLaren, because obviously you can't do the same things in the mid-engine car as you can in the front. So
No.
That's going to be my main focus, is making sure that I nail the setup. And then from there, it's going to be about, well, time management and things like that as well, and making sure that qualifying is nailed, because it's difficult to overtake. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it, but I've got a lot to focus on in the week coming up.
Brilliant. That's all my questions for Car Mentalist, John.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much to Car Mentalist. Great race victory. Thanks you for joining us in the box, Flying Froome, and of course SOP Milden as well. And thank you for the on-track entertainment and a dominant performance. Let's hope the curves are the great equaliser that Carmentis thinks they might be. As a man that drives a mid-engine Ferrari, I know exactly what he's talking about over those curves. So it's definitely going to be more than interesting next week as the championship absolutely hots up with 3 races to go. Quick hi to the guys in the chat. Floppy Fox, great debut, my man. I was bigging you up at the start of the stream. So congratulations for almost getting on the podium. Great race, he's saying. That was a fun race tonight drive with Eddie. He's saying hello. Oh, there's Nick.
The big
Some
boss.
guy called Nick. Some guy called Nick. Do we know who he is? Hi, Nick. I'm only kidding. And it was a full grid tonight. Absolutely great to see. And he says the comms were fantastic as always to John and Jess. Of course they are. We are professionals, like Arnold. We do it properly. But it was. That's how he started with a dad joke. Shut it down. Just, call it a night. But no, that is, unfortunately, all we have time for this evening. The final checkered flag has fallen once again on OneHub's inaugural season. But it is the HungaroRing next week. You just heard it from the horse's mouth. Carmentis, very difficult track to overtake. The curbs are going to be a great equaliser, and I am no doubt going to be once again left with my head in my hands when I see the type of lap times that Carmentis and the gang put in, because I consider myself quite quick round there. Yeah, that's about to be a parade well and truly rained on. What won't be rained on, though, is your enthusiasm here in the commentary box, or I'm sure you guys at home, and definitely the drivers. This championship, Jess, is absolutely coming to life with 3 weeks to go.
Can we just have a longer season? I've been absolutely enjoying every minute of it so far. It's been fantastic, wasn't it? Spa was fantastic. Silverstone was fantastic, and I can't wait for next week in Hungary. But just before we go, we're not running out of OneHub action this week. We are staying in Silverstone this week on Friday evening for the very first streams of OneHubRacing's F1 season 19. It will be qualifying night in Silverstone as well. So the ones that were used to ACC tonight and are racing in season 19 have to get back to using F1 again. Now that's going to be a challenge in itself as well. So quick reminder about what's happening in quali night. 30-minute practice session. The drivers have been put into a random 30-minute practice session. One's at 6 p.m, one's at 6:45, one's at 7:15, one's at 7:45, and one's at 8:30. Drivers will attempt to set their quickest lap time possible on the softs, and it will determine one of the things on which tier they'll be placed. And there's also other factors taken into consideration, but that is the main factor that we will consider in placing everybody into 5 tiers. Everyone that's applied for this season should be accepted into the session as well. And more information is on the website about that. And the Hamilton Straight is turn 1 this time, so don't need to get used to that as well. So best of luck to every single driver that's taken part. 100 drivers taking part this season. Well, not all 100 drivers, because we've still got 2 sign-ups still to contend with. So if you haven't signed up and want to sign up, you got to hurry up. 2 spaces left in the league, and you can take part in quali night on Friday night. So go on, do it. You know you're gonna love it. It's one of the best leagues as well, and you can still sign up for ACC as well. You will be put into a waiting list, just like Fox did as well. He got put into the waiting list, and since one of the drivers dropped out, guess what? He got a space. There we go. So if you're liking the action tonight, get on the waiting list. But qualifying night starts on Friday with the first stream at 6 p.m. Commentators to be decided. Make sure you join us on YouTube and Twitch. Again, the Twitter will tell you where it's going to be streamed. A couple will be streamed on YouTube, a couple will be streamed on Twitch. So there we go. That is going to be the action on Friday night. It's going to be some fun action to watch, I'm sure. I'm going to be quite busy on Friday with all my information and stuff for the commentators and sorting out the qualifying night times, but it should be a good one. And unfortunately, it is all we've got time for tonight.
Yes, indeed. But as Jess said, still plenty of action to come here at OneHub. So make sure you hit the follow button, get subscribing. and get following on Twitch and YouTube, and of course get following on Twitter so you can keep up to date with all the action, what's going on. And yeah, there's still 2 spaces to get signed up to season number 19 of the F1. What are you waiting on? Just get it done. Come on, stop messing about. So get signed up. Nick, I promise I won't do any more early impressions. Please don't sack me. But yeah, as Jess said, that is all we have time for this evening. Thank you so much to everyone that got involved and chatting away in the stream tonight. Absolutely loved seeing you all here. Same time next week for the HungaroRing. Thank you to the drivers that took part. Congratulations to our 3 podium sitters. It's been yet again another absolute pleasure, not only to commentate on the race, but to be in the virtual commentary box with this wonderful, wonderful woman. It is Jessica Ball. So thank you once again, Jess, for all the action brought to us this evening via your broadcasting talents.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Excited for next week. And we're going to let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. So it's goodbye from me.
And it is goodbye from me. Good night, everyone.
We'll see you next week. Have a good evening, everybody.